It's too bad the Democrats are so screwed up. Just changing party affiliation to be a Democrat today would be a walk in the park. A no-brainer. Folks, political Armageddon is here, but don't give in to fear and do not give in to vengeance and anger. Mike Church Show, we are live, asking the question of the day.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Well, I'll tell you.
In order
Listen
to
carefully.
ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire. And secure society.
My administration is reclaiming America's heritage as the world's greatest spacefaring nation. Our destiny beyond the Earth is a matter of national security. It is not enough to merely have an American presence in space. We must have American dominance in space.
How liberty dies, with thunderous applause.
Yes, again, that is how liberty dies, to thunderous applause. And they are applauding out there. So lots to talk about here today. Call-in line telephone number, same as it ever has been. 844-527-8723, 844-5-Crusade. Email address, same as it ever has been. I am KingDude at protonmail.com. Mike Church Show, Crusader Stadium chat room open for yo commentary, which I imagine will be popping and hopping today at mikechurch.com/chat. So join us. The show is out there for the public consumption and as a public service announcement today.
We're all doomed.
What's that, Maggie?
You said public service announcement. I said we're all doomed.
We're all due. I would like to begin by, okay, well, first, if you just woke up, so Congressman Massie was defeated last night. Israel, Trump, Netanyahu, the neocons did it. They pulled it off. They did it on the backs of geezer votes. The greatest generation has now become the worst generation. And this is going to be their legacy for their grandchildren. They are going to impoverish them. They're going to leave them, many of them homeless. They're going to leave them jobless. And they're probably going to leave them in something that resembles a Terminator kind of future, where the machines are running things, AI is dictating what you can and cannot say, and where this mythical unicorn that we're all pursuing called freedom is just that. It's a mythical unicorn. So this is what has been set in motion. I would like to begin, though, today, because I know you're all upset, and you should be. You should be absolutely livid over this. Making announcements, though, that you're going to seek revenge and vengeance, though, that's not what is going to repair the problem. And the problem is the democracy. The problem is, the problem is the vote. And the problem is now, and has been for a long time, we're not breaking any news here, the monstrosity that is perched on the banks of the Potomac River, as I've been calling it for pert near 20 years now, Mordor on the Potomac. It literally is a demonic manifestation out of the Lord of the Rings now. I would like to read something to you. This is not the first time that Americans have faced the end of America, or the end of the constitutional system. It's actually happened on 3 prior occasions. So I'm going to go over the first in this segment here today. I'm going to take you back to April of the year of our Lord and Savior, Anno Domini 1820. Thomas Jefferson to John Holmes. Let me send this to Maggie so that she will have it so she could show it and share it with the rest of you. This is a letter that Jefferson wrote shortly after receiving a correspondence where he was informed that this thing called the Missouri Compromise had passed out of the House of Representatives and the Senate and had been signed by, basically, or signed off on by President Monroe. Monticello, April 22, 1820. I thank you, dear sir, for the copy you have been so kind as to send me of the letter to your constituents on the Missouri question. It is a perfect justification to them. I had for a long time ceased to read the newspapers or pay any attention to public affairs, confident they were in good hands and content to be a passenger in our bark to the shore from which I am not distant. So Jefferson has stopped reading newspapers. He goes, Monroe's got this. We're good. I'm going to enjoy my life in my wine cellar here on Monticello. He continues, but this momentous question, like a fire bell in the night, awakened and filled me with terror. Now again, this is the author of the Declaration of Independence, twice elected president, 1800 and 1804, and one of the most famous men in the world at the time. This is Thomas Jefferson. So I'm not reading you something from some obscure crank that was running a blog in 1820. But this momentous question, like a fire bell in the night, awakened and filled me with terror. I considered it at once as the knell of the Union. Look the word Knell up. Knell, the end, the destruction, the finality. It's over. What was the question of the Missouri Compromise? The question was whether or not any new state would be admitted into the Union that was a slaveholding state. That was the question. When the compromise was reached, that was the epitaph for the South. It was over. It would take another almost 30 years for it to come to fruition, because you'd have to have more states come into the Union that weren't slave states with 2 votes in the U.S. Senate and then votes in the House of Representatives. And it would take exactly 38 years from the day Jefferson wrote this letter. It would take 38 years for the actual knell of the Union, which is when the Southern states, the Confederates, or ultimately that formed the Confederacy, when they found themselves out of political power. This, ladies and gents, is the key point that I wish to make. And we will make it all day on this program, and all week, and all the remainder of the year, and heaven knows, for however long God allows us to continue here. The Union is over. If you live in a state in the Union and you're not, 1, a fire-breathing Democrat Satanist, or 2, a fire-breathing Republican Satanist, we call you neocons, you are out of luck. You are out of power. You have no political influence whatsoever. Massie's defeat proves it. If you're sane, if you think that good people should win, if you think that the Constitution ought to be obeyed or it should be followed or hell should be a reference guide, you're screwed. You're hosed. If you think you should be a citizen of your state, nope, they told you last night, no, you're a citizen of the world, and you will buckle up and you will like it. It is literally the end. There is no point in any longer even discussing what we are going to do to fix the federal government and the states under it and the union. It can't be repaired. It's over. The best that you can do is find a way to separate from this beast before it kills you, before it comes for the rest of us and forces us into compliance. You'll either become a fire-breathing DEI, transgender, homosexual-loving Democrat Satanist, or you'll become a fire-breathing DEI, Israel first, global order second, rest of the world, fire-breathing neocon Republican. There is no other choice. If you're anything else, maybe they'll let you live. Maybe it'll be like you live in a Muslim country and you're a Christian, and they'll place you under the deimitude, and you can pay the tax. Oh, they'll let us survive if we pay the tax and bend the knee to everything else. But you have no political power. You're not going to win anything. You and I, completely and totally hosed. So we got them right where we want them. They think, by the way, I'm going to begin the process today. I began it last night. I unfollowed probably 15 people on X. There's probably a couple of hundred, maybe a couple thousand more. Or no, because I don't follow that many people. I'm going to begin the process of just blocking these people out of my life. You're not going to steal my joy. And I'm not going to play their sound bites unless they say they're coming after us, which some of them are already saying is basically, that'll teach you FAFO and disobey Trump's orders. I didn't vote to follow Trump's orders. I voted to fix the union, to fix the problems, to make America, and by extension Louisiana, and by extension Madisonville, where I live, great again, if it's possible. I'm now being told that I must become a sycophant, bootlicking lackey. And if I get out of line, then I get spanked. And if I get really out of line, then I get basically removed. Thomas Jefferson, April 20th, 22nd, 1820. But this momentous question, like a fire bell in the night, awakened and filled me with terror. I considered it at once the knell of the Union. It is hushed indeed for the moment, but this is a reprieve only, not a final sentence, a geographical line, coinciding with a market principle, moral and political, once conceived and held up to the angry passions of men, will never be obliterated. And every new irritation will mark it deeper and deeper. I can say with conscious truth that there is not a man on earth who would sacrifice more than I would to relieve us from this heavy reproach. In any practicable way, the cession of that kind of property, for so it is misnamed, is a bagatelle which would not cost me in a second thought if, in that way, a general emancipation and expatriation could be effected. So what he's basically saying is, well, yeah, I want slavery to come to an end too, but I don't see how you do it. He's also saying here that if you free all these slaves, you can't have them roaming about the American countryside and the states in the Union. Because that's why he's talking about expatriation, just so so everyone is clear. So I don't want someone to accuse me, you're writing a letter about slaves and slave owning and what. Yeah, I know that. I'm not stupid. As a matter of fact, I know why he wrote the letter. He continued, I think it might be. Wait a minute, I've skipped a line. And gradually, and with due sacrifices, I think it might be. But as it is, we have the wolf by the ear, and we can neither hold him nor safely let him go. Justice is in one scale and self-preservation in the other. Of one thing I am certain, that as the passage of slaves from one state to another would not make a slave of a single human being who would not be so without it, so their diffusion over a greater surface would make them individually happier and proportionately facilitate the accomplishment of their emancipation. By dividing the burden on a greater number of coadjutors, and abstinence too from this act of power would remove the jealously excited by the undertaking of Congress to regulate the condition of the different descriptions of men composing a state. This certainly is the exclusive right of every state, which nothing in the Constitution has taken from them and given to the general government. To the general government. Could Congress, for example, say that the non-freemen of Connecticut shall be freemen, or that they shall not emigrate into another state? I regret that I am now to die in the belief that the useless sacrifice of themselves by the generation of 1776. This is Thomas Jefferson saying, why did I even bother with the Declaration of Independence? I regret that I am now to die in the belief that the useless sacrifice of themselves by the generation of 76 to acquire self-government and happiness to their country is to be thrown away by the unwise and unworthy passions of their sons, and that my only consolation is to be that I live not to weep over it. In other words, well, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm old. I'm going to die. The rest of you are hosed. If they would but dispassionately weigh the blessings they will throw away against an abstract principle more likely to be effected by union than by scission, they would pause before they would perpetrate this act of suicide on themselves and of treason against the hopes of the world. I think every American Civics 101 student ought to have to read that letter. He ought to have to read what the author of the Declaration of Independence, the twice-elected president, the purchaser of Louisiana, the sage of Monticello, thought about one act of Congress, the Missouri Compromise. And he threw the towel in. 38 years later, Thomas Jefferson would be proven correct. Everything that he writes in his letter comes to fruition. In 1858, with the ascension of the radical Republicans to complete and total control over the House of Representatives, the United States Senate, and they did a fait accompli in 1860 when old dishonest Abe takes the presidency. It's over then. The Confederacy tries to preserve its way of life and maintain its political power, and that's why they secede. And then we all know the end result of that. They got trumped and Israeled. Israel and Trump in 1861 came in the form of the Union Army, came in the form of Ulysses S. Grant, came in the form of William Tecumseh Sherman, came in the form of Seward and all the rest of them. And then after that, what happened to them? This is the key part, you people. When the Appomattox all was lost, when Lee surrenders to Grant and then the Reconstruction begins, what happens? The complete and total subjugation of the southern states. That's what's going to happen to you. That's what's going to happen to me. It's already happening. So it's not just Thomas Massie that lost last night. The good and Christian and trying to be holy and sane people of every state lost last night. Yeah, Stephen Miller and the rest of you, FAFO if you cross Trump, you just lost the midterms. You're going to lose the midterms. That is an assurance now. You probably have lost any shot at ever winning the presidency again. So momentous and so monumental is this betrayal now. You've lost any chance that you ever had of any of those people you call independents or libertarians becoming Republicans. In other words, you won all right. You shrank the size of your party, buddy. And you know what? You deserve it.
You want your talk radio shaken.
Too many free radicals.
Free radicals, sir?
Too much red meat and white bread. And too many dry martinis.
Not stirred.
Then I shall cut out the white bread, sir.
Truth never dies on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
In 1983, ZZ Top made the song
Crazy about a shark dance.
and it was true from the time that song came out till around 2010, when girls stopped going crazy over a sharp-dressed man because men stopped dressing sharply. Cargo shorts, flip-flops, and tank tops became all the rage for men's public casual wear, to say nothing of how they dressed for mass. Well, as my listeners and viewers know, there's hardly anything more important to me than being a
Shark dance man.
and to help you become one, I'm introducing the official necktie of the Mike Church Show, Proselytize, whose designs are not only striking, they're 100% Catholic. You will look fantastic and like a sharp-dressed Catholic man in your Proselytize neckties. Available now in the Mike Church Show haberdashery at shop.mikechurch.com. Shop for ties, caps, t-shirts, and much more in the Mike Church Show haberdashery at shop.mikechurch.com. Hi, folks, it's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Spirit of 76. The Spirit of 76 details the true story of the writing and ratifying of the U.S. Constitution.
Besides the expenses of maintaining the Senate and other House in as much splendor as they please, there is to be a great and mighty president with very extensive powers, the powers of a king. He is
This
to be
animated
supported
movie
in
comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and is packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Spirit of 76 on a 2 DVD or 3 CD set. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723.
I need something to listen to challenge my faith and tickle my not-so-nice funny bone.
Well, you won't hear anything about Mondays coming or cheeseburgers in paradise, but you will hear the most brutally honest Catholic-inspired commentary on Parrot Talk. Weekdays.
Oh, this boats, beaches, bars, and ballads fan sees what you did there.
Weekdays at 2 Central on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talk and podcast radio.
The way it should be.
Membership has its privileges.
American Express was right back in the 1970s. Membership has its privileges, and no membership privilege is greater to a Red, White, and Dude Nation listener than membership in the elite membership club that is the Dude Number. Here's Lee to tell you how to get yours.
That's right, King Dude. Membership does have its privileges. And when it comes to the Dude Number, applying for membership has never been easier. Just head to mikechurch.com/dude to start the membership process. Your unique and one-of-a-kind membership and all the privileges that come with it awaits you. As a member, you'll enjoy private chat groups, VIP privileges to all Mike Church Show events, early access to new Dude-geared store items, and of course, your unique Dude Number.
Dude 1210 reporting all quiet on the Eastern Front.
This is Mike's favorite punching bag, Dude number 13.
Hi, this is Steve. My Dude number is 2112.
Dude number 2004, proud member of the Red, White, and Dude Nation reporting for duty.
Become a part of something bigger than any talk show there is and apply for your Dude Number today at mikechurch.com/dude.
Membership has its privileges.
The Mike Church Show is presented for the exclusive use of the renegade outlaws known to the leftards as muscle car lovers.
Folks, it's so bad I have turned Fox News off permanently. I am suffering through CNN. Headline is CNN just now. Trump defeats Massie. Mark the date. 19 May 2026. It's a milestone day, and I think that you are going to remember. By the way, I am going to reproduce, and I have all the files to do it. I just didn't get around to it yesterday, but I will knock it out today. I am going to reproduce the famous, world-famous Obama Empire. So this is how liberty dies. The thunderous applause rejoin, and I'm just going to replace it with Trump sound bites. I played the one that I had, the old one that I made with the Space Force cuts. That doesn't go nearly far enough. I'll get it done, and it'll start playing tomorrow. All right, this portion of the program brought to you by the Dude Gear Store at shop.mikechurch.com. That's shop.mikechurch.com. It's a big barbecue weekend. I should be boxing up cases upon cases of beast and butt rub, chicken mamu, and Acadiana steak seasoning. What's wrong with you people? Truly, it is great. It is a really, really good seasoning. If you haven't tried it, you must try a bottle. I'll buy it back from you. And look, while you're shopping today, there's new stuff. Ladies, Maggie, what do you call those things? Just oyster shell, tabletop oyster shell jewelry holders. You could throw jewelry in it. You could throw earrings in it. You could throw a spoon in it. On the stove. They're really cool. They're very popular here in the South. You take an oyster shell, half of an oyster shell, and you dry it out, and then you clean it, and then you paint it, and then you put what is it called? Decoupage design on it. There are 20-some odd of them in the Louisiana merch tab now in the Dude Gear Store at shop.mikechurch.com. Big Memorial Day weekend coming up here. Still got time to get your beast and butt rub, your cigars. I got a fresh supply of cigars coming today. So shop with us today. Shop.mikechurch.com. All right, so we don't get a lot of calls on this show. And I told you what I thought about what's going on. So I would like to just read some of what is happening in other parts of the audience, in the chat rooms and what have you here. So a friend writes this to me last night. I texted him like, war's over, man. Wormer dropped the big one. And he goes, don't tell me Massie lost. And I went, yep. Now, let me just describe my friend here. 37 years old, professional, Catholic dad of 8. New Orleans native, good dude. We hang out, me and him, and Maggie hangs out with his wife from time to time. We love their kids. We go to mass together. We do all sorts of things together and have for almost 6-7 years now. So very mild-mannered, average American middle-class family. So this is the point of view, this is the perspective, I think, of most people who are, again, I said sane. So he responded to me when I said Massie lost. He goes, I'm done with Trump and the system. Maybe that's what they want. And wait, let me add one more thing. This is a guy that wrote a book, a children's book, praising the 2024 version of Trump called The Legend of Sir Trump-a-Lot. We had it in the Founders Trading Post, or in the old Founders Trading Post store for a little while. So this is a formerly fire-breathing MAGA guy. I'm done with Trump and the system. Maybe that's what they want. Well, they got it. I was all in, and the last year and a half has given us nothing. I'm a young guy, relatively speaking, and we have no deportations, no border wall, $4 gas. Dude, you ain't got $4 gas. You got $5 gas. $5 gas coming today, this week. Groceries that cost more than when Biden was in the White House. war with Israel's enemies, no end to the Ukraine war, and radical Zionists that run our government and worship golden statues of Trump. And then there is the Epstein list. Place no faith in man, dude. We have been lied to every day. When taking over Venezuela is the biggest highlight of our new administration, you realized how screwed we are. And interest rates are still retarded high. By the way, they're going up. Mortgages are going to crack 7% today. That's me saying that. That's not him. I'm done with hearing I'm done with hearing from every effing boomer that has Fox News on 24/7 that Israel good, Muslims bad. I am so frustrated. Dude out. Well, James, you're not alone. You're the average guy. That's the opinion of most people. You know, the really sad part about this is, and I'll say this to anyone that just joined us, if you missed my stirring monologue last segment, it ought to be millions of people viewed. It ought to be on millions of screens today. And I encourage everyone, go read Jefferson's letter to John Holmes, April 22nd, 1820. It'll be in the transcript today. So for other of you that refuse to go view the transcript or go to MikeChurch.com, get the transcript today. It'll be in the transcript. Did you put the link in the chat room?
For what?
Jefferson's letter to Holmes. Okay.
Oh, wait, I didn't, but I can.
All right, we'll put the link in the chat room. Put it in the YouTube chat, too, so it makes it easy for them to find it. So I said this in the first hour, so let me just build upon what I said in the first hour. The real letdown here, and believe me, I've heard from so many people who nanya boo-boo me. Yeah, we told you so, told you so, told you so. Some of us saw this coming before, and you were so blind and so stupid and short-sighted and naive and dumb and whatever else they wish, all the other names that they wish to call you and say the things. I was actually just hopeful. And I wanted other people to be hopeful because I was genuinely convinced that this time it was going to be different. Well, you've ruined that now. No one is ever, none of us that are now on the betrayal side are ever going to trust any of those people that are involved. None of them. You know, J.D. Vance yesterday, he didn't have to do this. He got a question from someone in an audience. And according to the neocon warmongers, and the Trump Town Kool-Aid drinkers, this was the most perfect answer to why we all hate Massie and he must go. And Vance lied. Hey, by the way, JD, you need to go to confession. You bore false witness and publicly scandalized a good man. He does not vote 100% of the time against Trump. Not true. Doesn't vote 100% of the time against the Republican Party. Not true. He votes against the party when the party is out of line with the Constitution and the oath they took, exactly as he should. Maybe did you have that soundbite, that Vance soundbite yesterday? You can find it on X. It's all over the place. The betrayal that you feel today and the frustration and the aggravation and the outright anger is all justified. You're all justified in this. But let's all understand. Just take a deep breath and understand that we genuinely wanted this to work. That's what separates you from the people that installed Ed Gellerin last night. And by the way, this is going to be... I'm sorry. You know, knocking on wood. Let me get... stop the tape. Back it up. And this is not going to work out well for the people who installed Ed Gein last night. Better try and play than not Ed Gein and Ed Gallerin. Ed Gein. When we were talking about this this morning, Maggie said, well, I'll tell you what, this Ed Gein guy ain't going to work out for them. And I went, Ed Gein? He's a serial killer? Might as well be Ed Gein. You thought that good things were going to come from this administration. There's nothing wrong with you. You had good intentions. I had good intentions. We all had good intentions. What did it say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Not those kind of good intentions. You didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. You wanted it to work out for the better, for your sake and the sake of your posterity. And that's how you should look at it. And you screwed up. We trusted them. I mean, we never should have done that, but you can't, everyone makes decisions that don't work out so well. So don't be so hard on yourself. And don't be so hard, for those of you that are nanya boo-booing, don't be so hard on your brothers and sisters. Because together now, we have to figure out a way out of this pickle. Here's another one from another friend. Trump should have never gotten involved in this Massie fight. He put himself in a lose-lose situation. Well, you know what? This is what prideful people do, though. They put themselves in lose-lose because they're impeccable. They are invincible. They can't be beaten in their mind. They can't make wrong decisions. They can't make bad decisions. They surrounded themselves with all the right people. The right people are giving them all the right advice. They're perfect. It was a perfect call. It only follows that this would happen. Trump should have never gotten involved in this Massie fight. He put himself in a lose-lose situation. If Massie won, it would be a huge political embarrassment for the President of the United States. True story. If Massie lost, he'd piss off and alienate whatever was left of his non-boomer base. The latter is actually the worst of the two outcomes. It did a huge disservice to the nation in Kentucky, but specific to Trump, this leads to Republican midterm losses and his impeachment. And I said to him, in 35 years of broadcasting and ethics and broadcasting network work, here, 9 presidential elections, so 8 previous presidential terms, the things that dear leader Chairman Obama did pale in comparison to what President Trump has done. And he's done it to the middle class. And he's done it with his middle finger extended. And he's done it with impunity. As if we're all just, no, you're a bootlicking, shut up, you're a bootlicking lackey, lick my shoes. Do Juanita Broderick and blow my shoes. Do it, just do it. Get on your knees. I'm the greatest of all time. Riley Gaines is still a runner-up. We are supposed to join the cult of personality of a man. We're not supposed to be good people. We're not supposed to pursue goodness. We're not even supposed to sue the secular version of goodness contained in little r republicanism, which at the end of the day is what? It is a political system that kind of enforces in legal terms the Catholic principle of subsidiarity. The solidarity is up to you, but the subsidiarity part, that's republicanism. And it's now over. The party is now going to shrink, and it should. Johnson, hang on to that gavel, buddy. As a matter of fact, I take it home with you and go ahead and make the sergeant at arms replace it because you're going to lose it. On January the 6th, 2027, you will be replaced. And unfortunately, there's going to be a Democrat that's going to be running the House of Representatives. There's probably going to be a Democrat who's going to be the majority leader in the United States Senate. You know what they're going to do? They're going to pass the filibuster. They're going to nuke it. They're going to abolish it. And on day one, they're going to stop any of the good things that Trump has done are going to get repealed. So if you think it's bad now, just get used to the $5 a gallon of gas. By the way, if you don't bend the knee and then you get the FAFO, what does that say about the people that are saying that? Here's your spot price of oil today. WTI crude, $102 a barrel. Brent crude, $108 a barrel. $5 a gallon gasoline is now a certainty. It's coming. You can just mark it, dude. And all the rest of the grocery prices that are attached to things that have to be shipped over land by truck and by train are also going to go up. So I'm just blousing around and I'm wondering, I think that you ought to hear some of Congressman Massie's speech. I think he's right when he says, we won. And I think that this is the proper framing of this. They're spiking all of our heads in the end zone today. That's digital media file number 8. They're spiking our heads in the end zone today. They're telling you idiots, we're in charge. We're the bosses. Dude, savor your little victory because it's going to be short-lived. And by the way, you are so on the wrong side of history. Future generations are going to revile the day that Donald John Trump was inaugurated as POTUS 47 because he's going to preside over his own doom. And when he presides over his own doom, I just wonder, does now the culpable liar, J.D. Vance, if they let Vance take over, does the culpable liar, J.D. Vance, does he just pick up where Trump leaves off? Because the Miriam Adelsons of the world are going to threaten him and are going to basically tell him, dude, don't even think that you're going to do anything other than what Trump did for us. You will continue the company line or else. FAFO, buddy. Think of this. Do you think J.D. Vance is going to become a President Andrew Johnson? The most reviled president in Union history. But what was the hallmark? What did President Johnson do? He told the radical Republicans in Congress, he goes, you're not going to put Jefferson Davis on trial for treason. It is not going to happen. I'll veto everything you send over here. You send me a bill, I'll veto it. And you don't have the votes to override my veto. I'll veto everything you send over here. And I will do everything I can to stop you from putting Davis and Lee and the other Confederates on trial. So what did they do what did the radical Republicans, what an irony this is, what did the radical Republicans of 1866, what did they do? And Johnson has to take over from Lincoln because Wilkes Booth kills Lincoln. So what did they do to Johnson? They impeached him. They failed. They put him on trial in the Senate, just like they did to Trump and Clinton. They failed, but they tried. They told Andrew Johnson, you're a Democrat from the South. FAFO, buddy. And they impeached him. If the Senate nukes the filibuster and they impeach Trump and they have the nuked filibuster and 51 votes to do anything that they want and they keep their caucuses together, what do you think the bend-the-knee Republicans are going to do? To save their own political hides and skins, they're going to vote to impeach Trump. You can just see the writing on the wall. Just get a crayon out. Hell, get a Sharpie out so it doesn't rub off and write it on the wall. All right, Maggie, play the Massie clip. I think that everyone should hear this. This is how you take a defeat with dignity.
What I want to leave you with. We won. We won because we started a movement. We showed people that if you're under 50, you want to save this country. But what happened today was God's will. It couldn't happen if God didn't want it to. So our job, and I'm not going to make any announcements tonight. I'm going to go back, have me a medical margarita. I'll hang out and party with you all.
I had some medical bourbons last night.
You know I don't drink recreationally. I have medical margaritas. I even have a medical margarita card. But what happened today, what happened tonight was God's will. And we have to figure out what was the purpose of having the biggest fight ever. Biggest fight ever. Why did it converge on one of 435 congressional seats right here in Kentucky? What was God's purpose? What is he showing us tonight? We're just getting started. I like that.
That's how you go out.
What happens in 2028? You want me to run for Congress again? I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. So I love the medical because he says, I don't ever drink recreationally. I only drink medically. Well, there are a lot of us that were drinking medically last night. I was having some medical bourbons here. That's how you go out, with a smile. But again, don't let them steal your joy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not over. The union is over. That doesn't mean that we're over. And I think that Massie is correct. He said something else. He goes, guess what? I have 7 more months to vote. I get to vote on stuff for 7 more months where I will vote for the Constitution and as I should. Take this away, and we got to take a time out. It's coming up here. Take this away from the Massie defeat last night and the spiking of our heads as communists and calling us names and all that in the end zone. Don't let them steal your joy. The greatest thing that you have going for you is you are pursuing a heavenly final end. Are they?
mountainside, across the sea into my soul. It reaches into where I cannot hide, setting my feet upon the road. My heart is old, it holds my memories. My body burns a gem-like flame, somewhere between the soul and soft machine is where I find myself again. Killing lays on down the road that I must travel. Killing lays on through the darkness of the night. Killing lays on where I'm going with you.
The Crusade Channel. Talk radio the way it should be. Broadcasting live from Madisonville, Louisiana, and streaming 24/7 at crusadechannel.com. When you hear the noon bells tolling, it's time for Angelus, brought to you by the Crusade Channel.
One of my favorite books is Jim Collins' Good to Great, and lots of people have benefited from reading it, including me. But few people have read his follow-up book, How the Mighty Fall. Now, over the course of the last 18 years, has been quite the feat of survival to avoid becoming one of the fallen, but survive we have. And guess what else survived? The world-famous Dude Number t-shirt, which began in 2007. Now, to kick off the relaunch of this elite membership club, we announced a brand new t-shirt design, a brand new certificate of authenticity, and access to numbers that have only recently become available. Here's Jim to tell you how to secure that Dude Number that's unique and special to you.
Just head to mikechurch.com/dude for all things Dude Number, including purchasing your 2026 version of the world-famous Dude Number t-shirt. That's mikechurch.com/dude and join America's morning show, The Mike Church Show, and the Red, White, and Dude Nation's elite membership club. That's mikechurch.com/dude.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. That's 800-313-7757.
Hi, folks, it's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Road to Independence, the movie. The Road to Independence tells the exciting story of the Founding Fathers' struggle to declare independence.
Yes, of course, the defense of the Redcoats in the so-called Boston Massacre is...
John!
Not now, dear! Not now!
Dear, have you considered this defense of yours is going to separate you from our friends?
Separate us from friends?
This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and are packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Road to Independence on DVD and CD. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD. And by calling 844-527-8723. Hey, folks, it's Mike Church. You know, when I was a little children, I remember loving the old Dunkin' Donuts TV spot. You know, the one with the guy who woke up at 3 a.m. mumbling to his wife, "I gotta make the donuts." Well, fast forward 40 years, and now I'm the guy waking up at 3 a.m. mumbling to my wife, "I gotta make the radio." But I have a secret weapon the Dunkin' Donut dude did not have. Crusade Channel Cappuccino Dark Roast Coffee and whole bean or ground. Our fresh, aromatic gourmet coffee is made from 100% fair trade beans, freshly imported, roasted, and then delivered fresh to you. So, whatever AM you arise at to make what you gotta make, count on Crusade Cappuccino Dark Roast Coffee. Order today at crusadechannel.com/coffee or by telephone at 844-527-8723.
Only the Crusade Channel brings you the Saint of the Day read by actual nuns.
Really? Our sisters are actual sisters?
Yes, and you can catch their heavenly voices announcing the Saint of the Day on the Crusade Channel.
Oh, you boomers and your live broadcasts. I'm a busy girl. Sure, I'm very important only in my own mind, but can I get them as podcasts?
I'm not a boomer. And yes, all Saint of the Day recordings are available as mini podcasts on our app and at crusadechannel.com.
I see saintly binge listening in my future. I feel holier already.
In 1983, ZZ Top made the song
crazy about a shark dressed man.
And it was true from the time that song came out till around 2010, when girls stopped going crazy over a sharp-dressed man because men stopped dressing sharply. Cargo shorts, flip-flops, and tank tops became all the rage for men's public casual wear, to say nothing of how they dressed for mass. Well, as my listeners and viewers know, there's hardly anything more important to me than being a
Shark dressed man.
And to help you become one, I'm introducing the official necktie of the Mike Church Show, Proselytize, whose designs are not only striking, they're 100% Catholic. You will look fantastic and like a sharp-dressed Catholic man in your Proselytize neckties. Available now in the Mike Church Show haberdashery at shop.mikechurch.com. Shop for ties, caps, t-shirts, and much more in the Mike Church Show haberdashery at shop.mikechurch.com.
In a world more and more infiltrated with fake news, AI-generated slop-ola, isn't it great knowing that Crusade Channel News is still researched, written, and performed by actual humans? Hey, what are you doing in here? Oh no. Get your hands off of me. You chipped my chip.
Boys, break it up. Jeez. Catch Crusade Channel News weekday mornings on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and podcast radio the way it should be.
No AI was harmed in the making of this radio content, but we hope to next time. Southern conservative Catholic America is in the fight of its life, and the Great White Hope, Mike Church, has just entered the ring. The Mike Church Show.
I think just about sums it up.
They told him, don't you ever come around here. Don't wanna see your face, you better disappear. The fire's in their eyes and their words are really clear. So beat it, just beat it. You better run, you better do what you can. Don't wanna see no blood, don't be a macho man. You wanna be tough, better do what you can. So beat it, but you wanna be bad, just beat it, beat it. No one wants to beat it.
Sending this out to all you neocon, FAFO, calling good people communists. This is for you. Performing this show with 100% of my testosterone tied behind my back just to make it a fair fight because I don't need it today. It's the 35-year young, now serving dude number 142. Mike Church Show. This portion of the program brought to you by the Dude Gear Store at shop.mikechurch.com. Too many great things to tell you about, but there's new books in the store, including Is Davis a Traitor? Now, this is going to become very important that you have this book here. Is Davis a Traitor? Was secession legal previous to the War of 1861? Albert Taylor Bledsoe, Abraham Lincoln's former law partner, wrote that book basically as the legal defense for Jefferson Davis and the rest of the Confederates should they be tried for treason. The argument has never been refuted. Yes, it was legal. Let me restate the argument. Yes, it is legal today, and you need to know this because there's so many good, no, man, Texas versus why? No, it's illegal to secede. Was it illegal for the 13 Soviet republics to secede? Secede from the Soviet Union in 1991? Was it illegal for the government and the country of Great Britain to secede from the European Union in 2016? No, it wasn't. And it's not illegal now. It is a political act. It's like saying that voting is illegal or that writing laws and acts is illegal. Of course it's not. So educate yourself. Besides the fact that Bledsoe has a great sense of humor, it's a great book. It was written in 1866. So get yourself a copy of Is Davis a Traitor Today in the Dude Gear store. Coffee is coming today. Cigars are coming today. They're both as fresh as you could possibly get. So order up today. Capuchin Holy Roast and New Orleans Blend, coffee and chicory from our friends at the Abita Roasting Company. And get yourself a 35th anniversary Mike Church Show t-shirt. Same place, same store, and Maggie's new oyster shells. Painted decoupage. Oyster shells. Cool little, you have to go look at the pictures. People like them pictures. Shop with us today. Your purchases go to support all that we do here on the Mike Church Show and the Ethics and Broadcasting Network and the Crusade Radio Guild at shop.mikechurch.com. I got a message. I usually wait to the end of the show, but I'm going to go ahead and read this one now because I want to talk about this. So, KY Postman says this, at $5, you can do mikechurch.com/coffee. Ask your question, leave your comment today. mikechurch.com/coffee. That's what KY Postman did. Do you really believe that the average Boobus Americanus, a term that I crafted, by the way, will remember this? He's talking about Massie's defeat. War in Iran, high fuel prices, Trump betrayals in November. Yes, I do. I believe that this one is personal, Jacob. This is not political. This one is personal. The President of the United States and his neocon, Zionist hacks and henchmen personally went after anyone that dared to support, to voice support for Congressman Massie. They went after them personally, viciously. You have Stephen Miller screaming at his iPhone, calling us communists. He said communists. It's personal. This wasn't about politics. This was about person. It was about Trump's cult of personality. Like, remember when Megyn Kelly said, oh, you don't understand how this works. That guy walks into a room and he sucks all the life out of all the air out of it. You can't beat him in a primary. You just can't beat him. Well, apparently you can't beat him, and you can't vote against something that he wants you to vote for. So you're just supposed to blindly cast your ballots. So, no, I do believe that this is personal and that people absolutely are going to remember it. And anyone, as Massie said, that's under 50, oh, yeah, they're going to remember. And they're going to remember the Republican Party that did this to them. They're going to remember that they were promised. You know, we should go back and start playing Trump campaign sound bites of all the things that were going to happen. All the arrests that were going to be made, all the people that were going to pay for their crimes, the elimination of he was hinting at the elimination of the IRS. Remember in the early days of March last year in April, in the early days of Doge? Meg, I bet you can find the soundbite. He said we were all going to get a Doge check. You remember the Doge checks? And I think we're going to be saving so much. I think, Ilana, am I right? I think we're going to have enough to send Doge checks out to the American people. You're going to get Doge checks. The Doge checks are coming. He also said that we were going to take in so much money under the tariffs, we were going to get tariff checks. Do you remember that? Did you get a tariff check? I didn't. Maggie, did we get a tariff check in the mail? I got a bill from the IRS. I got a demand. Hey, you didn't cross an I and dot a T in 2022. You owe us $1,400. Fork it over, sucker. True story, by the way. They're going to remember that we're going to make America work again. Remember, there were going to be 12,000 or 12 million, 14 million illegal alien criminal trespassers deported. Which campaign promise was it? Where we were promised, and we all voted for 500,000 members of the Chinese Communist Party to be immigrated into the United States so they can populate our finest universities. Well, I must have missed that campaign promise. Did you catch that one? Also didn't catch the campaign promise where 80,000 H-1B visas are going to be issued so that Chipotle and the Marriott hotel chain can employ them. Well, those jobs won't be going to Americans. Well, by the way, now we know why Jeff Bezos showed up at the inauguration. We know why he was sitting next to Elon Musk, why he was in the VIP circle, why he was photographed with Trump on January 20th, 25. We now know why Bezos needs and wants tens of thousands of H-1B workers to work for less than Americans will in his factories, in his Amazon distribution centers. Did you vote for that? I didn't. Did you vote for consider for just a moment that maybe a young person might be seeking a summer job. Oh, I can get one at the Amazon warehouse. Not anymore, you can't. You got replaced, bro. Your teenage son or your young daughter or your young son that's looking for some gainful employment that maybe doesn't have an awful lot of, I never learned how to code skills, maybe going like, I think I'll go apply at Amazon. Not anymore, you won't. You're not going to get hired. You got replaced by Haji from Johnny Quest. Did you vote for any of that? I didn't. By the way, did you vote for Iran can't have a nuke? They won't exist as a country. He's still out there babbling this every day now. Every day. Did you vote for a war, a proxy war, with most of the Middle East, with our greatest ally in the region, Israel? I didn't. KY Postman continues. Trump betrayals. Where do they evolve? Okay. I certainly think it's possible that there will be a blue wave, but I also believe in the vast majority of American voters being stupid. After all, the majority went along with COVID. True story. Maybe many of them have rejected stupidity now. Maybe they're just a little bit more suspicious because of COVID. For example, take my primary in Kentucky. Most people will just vote for the incumbent. My congressman, Brett Guthrie, is in full support of AI data centers, but he was still overwhelmingly reelected. Well, he hasn't been reelected yet, Jacob. He's only been re-nominated. That was a primary. He still has to be actually elected. Now, you can say, well, did the guy that ran against Guthrie, was he an anti-AI data center? I don't know anyone that's for AI data centers. Do you? I'm seriously asking that question. All the Trump neocons, Israel first or Zionists, they're all for data centers. Build 150,000 of them if you want. Put them everywhere. We don't need you stinking, pesky humans. So, yes, I think that people will remember. And by the way, Jacob, I don't think it's going to be a blue wave. I think people like me and Maggie, we're just not going to vote. I am not going to get out of my house and go cast a ballot for any of you. I'm just not going to do it. I withdraw my consent from the entirety of the system. It's wretched, it's crooked, it's criminal, and it doesn't have any of my interest at heart, so I am not going to participate any longer. You think that I am alone? I think that I'm probably one of the more mild-mannered people speaking on this. And I've heard some people speaking on it in the last 6 hours. So I don't think it's going to be a blue wave by any means. I think it's just going to be an unred wave. And you're going to have people, and they're going to tell all of these neocons and all these Israel firsters. And by the way, Israel now thinks it's ascendant. The very idea that the government of 9 million people in a foreign land 6,000 miles away is now running the great engine of state of the United States is reprehensible. Revolutionary wars have been started for far less. And now they're going to take you like you take a puppy dog, some people do, And when they poo-poo in the wrong place in the house, you lead him to it, and you show it. You put his nose near and go like, okay, no. And then you take him outside and gently place him down. No, do that here. But you let him know. You let him smell his stink. And then you discipline him or train him by putting him outside. Well, the neocons, the Israel firsters and the Zionists and the Trump Town Kool-Aid drinkers, they're rubbing your nose in it today. They think they've won. So let me see if I get this right now. So Massie's defeated, so the SAVE Act is going to pass. Oh, that's right. It's already out of the House of Representatives. Massie's defeated, so that insert anything here. And he voted against this. He voted against that. So Massie's defeated, so the trannies are ascended again. Just go down your little list of all the supposed betrayals that Congressman Massie exacted against the Trump Town Kool-Aid drinkers. Now you have to deal with him for 7 months. What are you going to do when you have 219 members of the Republican caucus and you need 218 of them to pass a budget? What are you going to do? What are you going to do when you want to do anything? And now you've thrown Bunny Bobert in on this, and you've thrown the other guy from Indiana, Salazar, and who are the other two that campaigned for Massie? You got 4 Republicans right now who know that the party is going to throw them under the bus. They're going to vote their conscience. Right now, my count in the House of Representatives is 213 to 216. 213 to 216. Do the 216 Democrats go after and lobby Massie, Bobert, Salazar, and the other guy that campaigned for Massie and say, hey, what do you want in this bill here? Tell us what you want. We'll put it in our version of the bill. Screw Johnson and those criminals that want to get rid of you. If I was Nazi Nancy Pelosi and I was still running that caucus, that's what I'd do. I'd say, we can make a deal. So go ahead and spike our little heads in the end zone. Enjoy your little sicko, twisted Laura Loomer feeding frenzy. You will not get to eat your victory. It's like the Klingons say, revenge is the dish best served cold. And you're going to get it cold. All right, Maggie, play digital media file number 1 from Massie's concession speech last night. So, folks, we have a job to do. We have to rebuild or remake the union. I don't know what, and I don't have an idea of what it looks like. So before you start yelling at me in the chat room and saying that my church said, no, I didn't. I just said we have a job to do. We need to remake, rebuild a union, the union. Use your own noun, if you will, or preposition. It can be the union. It can be a union. Maybe it's not a union at all. Maybe it's kingdoms. Here's Massie's concession last night. Part of it.
Listen, I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede, and it took a while to find Ed Galrine in Tel Aviv.
I have conceded the race, he said. We've been honorable the whole time, and we will stay that way. All right.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't finish it.
Talk about the ballroom here next. Now, by the way, we're gonna rebuild that beautiful White House. It's gonna be beautiful, and Miriam Adelson is going to pay for it. I have donors. It's not going to cost a single. Well, why are you asking Congress for $250 million now? If it's not going to cost the taxpayer a single dime, why then does the taxpayer and their children being told we need to borrow the money to build it? And this is what you do? President Trump on a Tuesday morning, the $5 a gallon gas on all the myriad of problems out there, you go and walk out to go inspect the construction and you bring a poster of what the new ballroom is going to look like, and the American public is like, oh, look at your new ballroom. Oh, I can't wait. Hey, American people, you'll never be invited there.
We'll never get to see it. We can't afford to drive there.
Maggie said we'll never get to see it. We can't afford to drive there. Speaking of the ballroom.
But listen, I got to watch Fox also for the first time in 18 months. And there was the president talking about, by the way, while gas is almost $5 and diesel's almost $6, they're talking about this big ballroom they're going to build, and it looks like the Roman Empire, architecture from the Roman Empire. I see a few analogies there, and people are just trying to make ends meet. But we were promised that Miriam Adelson would pay for that ballroom, but she's... Hey, she spent so much money in this race, they're going to have to reduce the footprint of that thing.
Ross Barkin at Unheard. How Trump and the neocons beat Thomas Massie. His politics will endure. You know, there's a lot to be said about good men that we have been playing to introduce a segment of the Mike Church Show. It's this one.
The great Edmund Burke once said, "The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing." And for this hour of the Mike Church Show, doing nothing is not an option.
True story. So we're going to have to rebuild the union. We're going to have to, do we start from scratch? You know, I was texting last night, so many people, and I was texting with Steve Cunningham, our buddy from Census Fidelity. And by the way, the Win a Pound of Gold raffle begins Monday, June the 8th. Your chance to win a Troy pound of gold. Ashley said that she told some people at a fishback rally last night about the Win a Pound of Gold contest, and they were all shocked. What, somebody actually does things like that? Well, yeah, Mike Church and Mr. Beast. So I was talking with Cunningham. I'm like, dude, we need to have a conference. We need to have a convention. And if we get a few popular Catholic guys to agree to go to it, then we put the word out. I think we can do this. And we just need to have a conference, and we need to talk about how do we get out of this as Catholics. We're not interested in secular solutions. We're interested in Catholic solutions. No one has attempted this, by the way. And of course, you know, you're Catholics. For some Catholics types out there, they're not going to want anything to do with this, because if you solve the problem, you end the gravy train. They don't want to end the gravy train. They're in on it. And so I am happy to entertain any ideas about that, and I'm sure Steve is as well. Ross Barkin at Unheard. Thomas Massie's decisive loss in a Kentucky Republican primary is proof that Trump still dominates the Republican Party. It will be his party until he is no longer president, or even perhaps until he is dead. We can have it now. You know, I was going to pull some sort of a stupid stunt today. I was going to take my voter registration card and burn it. I'm just going to go to the DMV next time I'm out that way. I'm just going to walk in, and I'm going to take my number, and I'm going to say, I'm just here to change my party affiliation, and I'm going to change it to independent. I don't care if I ever vote in another Republican primary again. I'm finished. I'm done. You know, I gave them all of my energy and my passion and my talent and my skill since the blowout and since the rigged election in COVID and the rigged election of 2020. And I'm not giving them anymore. Nothing. You'll get this.
0.0.
There should be consequences for what they've done. There should be consequences for what Trump has done. Trump's personalist rule over the MAGA GOP, meanwhile, is increasingly bound up with the pro-Israel cause. And by the way, they have overplayed. The demons, Satanists, always overplay their hand. They have overplayed their hands. You know, I saw some stupid memo from the Department of Justice last night, basically hinting that they are going to do a 20-stop tour of Department of Injustice bigwig lawyers, and they're going to be holding seminars on bringing anti-Semitism to a halt. This is how they are going to suppress us. Mark it, dude. You heard it here first. And many of you have been saying that. So credit to all of you who have predicted this. They're going to go after you and me as anti-Semites. And they're going to try and cancel us. They can't cancel all of us.
You want your talk radio shaken,
You expect me to talk?
not stirred.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Truth never dies on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
Membership has its privileges.
American Express was right back in the 1970s. Membership has its privileges, and no membership privilege is greater to a Red, White, and Dude Nation listener than membership in the elite membership club that is the Dude Number. Here's Lee to tell you how to get yours.
That's right, King Dude. Membership does have its privileges. And when it comes to the Dude Number, applying for membership has never been easier. Just head to mikechurch.com/dude to start the membership process. Your unique and one-of-a-kind membership and all the privileges that come with it awaits you. As a member, you'll enjoy private chat groups, VIP privileges to all Mike Church show events, early access to new Dude-geared store items, and of course, your unique Dude Number.
Dude 1210 reporting all quiet on the Eastern Front.
This is Mike's favorite punching bag, Dude number 13.
Hi, this is Steve. My dude number is 2112.
Dude number 2004, proud member of the Red, White, and Dude Nation, reporting for duty.
Become a part of something bigger than any talk show there is and apply for your Dude Number today at mikechurch.com/dude.
Membership has its privileges.
The Crusade Channel and the slaves of the Immaculate Heart of Mary's Sisters present the Saint of the Day.
Hello, Crusaders. This is Sister Mary Joseph with your Saint of the Day. Today is May 20th, the feast of Saint Bernardine of Siena, who died in 1444. Saint Bernardine of Siena was born in 1380. He became a Franciscan when he was 22 years old and was one of the greatest missionary priests of the 15th century. His especial devotion was to the holy name of Jesus, which he insisted everyone should say devoutly, reverently, and with the bowing of one's head. He openly rebuked anyone who dared use the holy name of Jesus in profanity. Everywhere Saint Bernardine went, he carried a banner with the monogram IHS on it. Saint Bernardine was canonized 6 years after he died. And additionally, from Dom Guéranger's liturgical year, Bernardine Albizzacchi, whose parents were of a noble family of Siena, gave evident marks of sanctity from his earliest years. He was well brought up by his pious parents. When studying the first rudiments of grammar, he despised the favorite pastimes of children and applied himself to works of piety, especially fasting, prayer, and devotion to the Blessed Virgin. His charity to the poor was extraordinary. In order the better to practice these virtues, he later on entered the confraternity which gave to the Church so many saintly men, and was attached to the hospital of Our Lady of Scala in Siena. It was there that, whilst leading a most mortified life himself, he took care of the sick with incredible charity during the time when a terrible pestilence was raging in the city. Amongst his other virtues, he was preeminent for chastity, although he had many dangers to encounter owing to the beauty of his person. Such was the respect he inspired that no one, however lost to shame, ever dared to say an improper word in his presence. Saint Bernardine of Siena, pray for us. Thank you for joining us for this brief summary of the life of today's saint. Tomorrow is the feast of Saint Andrew Bobola. To access all of our Saint of the Day recordings as podcasts, go to crusadechannel.com/saints. To find out more about our sisters and how you can help us build our convent, go to stphilomenaconvent.org. I'm Sister Mary Joseph, and until next time, may God bless you and Mary keep you.
Attention Coffee Police Academy students. We will now call the roll. CPA candidate Jones.
Present.
Joe Arabica Friday.
Present.
Tommy.
Oh, I'm here, sir. I just can't seem to keep my eyes open since I started drinking this Barrett Bargain Basement Stale Bean Water.
And just why are you violating CPA coffee code SBW1AM?
Well, that's easy. So I can save up money to get into the Coffee Cop Academy.
Son, breaking CPA rules so you can get into CPA is no way to become a coffee cop. Now, I am afraid we're going to have to...
Uh-oh. Sounds like Lou has found the academy, and he's on his second cup of Abbey Roast.
What does he want?
He wants to know why the CPA didn't recognize his Rougarou nouns.
Rougarou nouns? And I'm the one that rejected his application.
Will Lou the Rougarou have his revenge and grind the coffee cop into espresso? Stay tuned to this station for our next episode. And in the meantime, order Abbey Roast Coffee at shop.mikechurch.com. Mike Church, Commander-in-Chief of the Red, White, and Dude Nation. The Mike Church Show is exclusively on the Ethics and Broadcasting Network. No apologies, no prisoners, no censors. The Mike Church Show is on the Red, White, and Dude Nation.
Mr. President, perhaps Mr. Henry was absent on the days when our recent Congress sent new petitions for peace to His Majesty. Maybe he hasn't heard that we still have friends in Parliament. Is this a time to turn a friend into an enemy? To turn their pity into disgust? Withdraw your resolves, Mr. Henry, and let this House return to our peaceful petitions.
Let gentlemen cry peace when there is peace. Where is the enemy in this quarter of the globe that requires this massive accumulation of armies and supplies? I have news for you, gentlemen. We are that enemy. If we wish to be free, we must fight. I repeat it, sir. We must fight. An appeal to arms and to God is all that is left for us. I know not what course other men may take, sir. But as for me, give me liberty, or give me death.
Mark! Ow! The Sultan of Sapientia, the Oracle of Optimism. Don't let them steal your joy, folks. Recapping the news in case you just woke up from out underneath of a rock. Congressman Thomas Massie was defeated last night by Ed Gallerine, and 100% pro-Trump Ed Gallerine will easily defeat the Democrat that they're going to throw up against him in that district and will now go to Congress. Unfortunately, though, for Kentucky 4, And for the rest of all the Republican districts in the United States, they're probably going to lose their majority as a result of what happened last night. So enjoy your spiking of the heads. Enjoy your nanya boo-boos. Call us all the names that you want. We were right yesterday. We are correct today. And you bought yourself a congressional seat with money from a foreign empire. I don't think that that's a victory. As a matter of fact, I think it's going to go down in history as a turning point and as a mark. Maybe it's the mark of something good that comes about. Maybe it's the mark of something terrible that comes about. It is a mark. And I believe that the mark, now that it's been made, is significant. And again, as you know, you think about this, and we talk about what the future holds. This is May. Massie is in Congress. Boebert, I said this last segment, I'm going to keep it. Boebert, Salazar, who are the three people that campaigned with Massie? Can you give me the names, please? Because I don't want to keep saying the other guy. Rand Paul is in the U.S. Senate. Is Rand Paul next?
Rand Paul was one of them.
Now, Rand Paul campaigned for Massie. Rand Paul is a thorn in Trump's side. Rand Paul votes against pretty much the same stuff that Massie votes against. Is Trump going to now froth at the mouth like a rabid dog and go after Rand? You can easily see now. This is the no king's dictator these people were telling us that Trump was going to become. You know what the worst part about this? Okay, I just have to crack a Maggie O'Connell joke for a quick second here. She goes, I never thought that voting for a president and being so disappointed could ever make me turn on CNN. True story. Well, we turn Fox off. It kind of brainwashes you anyway. Even when it's playing in the background, it's still it's still right there, and it's in your mind. And you may not be. I keep the sound down most days. I don't listen to it. Thank the Lord. I do, however, I see it. What a difference it is. You watch CNN and you go like, wait a minute. CNN has a libertarian. Wait a minute. Here, play this guy. And by the way, our friend Scott Jennings, we're going to have political disagreements, but this is just a silly season now. Scott Jennings saying Massie's joke about Ed Gallery and being in Tel Aviv is anti-Semitic. You guys are going to pull this anti-Semitism crap, and it is going to backfire on you so terribly. Oh, yeah, you may take some of us out. Hell, you might even kill some of us. It's going to backfire on you. Play the... Paul Reichoff. Is this the one that you were telling me? Yeah, this is on CNN last night.
Is the most petty president in the history of presidencies to take this guy out over something like this.
$33 million.
Yeah, he's also winning. I mean, he's on a roll. I think that's right. What Essie said is right. I mean, he won in Indiana. He punished Cassidy, and now he wants to make the best example possible of Massie, flex his strength, show he's got total control over the Republican Party. And I think it's also just a sad day for America, because as we look at these primaries, so many of them are closed. 3.5 or so million independents are completely blocked out of this process. They have no vote. So this whole game is stacked toward Trump because independents can't vote. People can't register late and vote.
More people identify as independents than Republicans or Democrats, honestly, right? It's just amazing. But the result of his own success.
He's got a big problem. The war in Iran is almost overwhelmingly unpopular, and it's continuing to drop. And I think that's what other folks are seeing, whether it's Massie or it's Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're recognizing that America's sick of foreign intervention, and they're sick of foreign wars, they're sick of foreign spending, and that spans from Israel all the way to Iran. That is a populist message now. Israel's popularity has fallen right alongside the Iran war, and that's become a problem for Trump. He went all in on Massie to the point where he sent the Secretary of Defense in there, right? Pete Hegseth was campaigning against Massie.
On the eve of the vote.
And I just want to talk about how absolutely unacceptable, unprecedented, and overly political that is. That is a dangerous line to cross. Well, it shows how Trump is willing to go all in and blow apart every norm just to win and ensure loyalty. And that's what he's going to continue to do.
But you're saying that as a veteran? Is that what
I'm saying that as an American. I mean, you don't send your Secretary of Defense to campaign against your political enemies. Pete Hegseth should be fighting our foreign enemies. He should be worried about Iran, not Tom Massie. This is a weaponization of the entire Defense Department and the narrative nationally, which is absolutely out of bounds and very, very dangerous. Another massive open space, too, which is underserved.
Okay, can you pause it right there or just mark the time? We could come back to it. I don't know who this guy is, but that's absolutely correct. It's a weaponized. I said this yesterday. When Biden went after Citizen Trump and raided Mar-a-Lago, what did I do? I went on the air. I've been very consistent. I went on the air on the Mike Church Show, and I said, this is wrong. When he sent Peppermint Zaki, because Trump at that point was an American citizen, you can't use the executive branch. You can't use any branch of government to target citizens. We created the dang Constitution so that we would be protected from, supposedly, from kings and parliaments who wanted to do that. Trump has now weaponized his administration. Sending Hegseth in should be the last straw for anybody. You know, and Hegseth should have told him no. Mr. President, please, I don't want to do this. Not only did Hegseth go, we didn't even play it. I wasn't going to dignify what he said about Thomas, by Congressman Massie, by broadcasting it. I have ethical standards. And I'm like, it was on the cut sheet yesterday. Mrs. O'Connell, greatest radio producer in the history of radio producers, said, you don't want to play the Hegseth clip? I'm like, I'm not airing that. I am not going to air that. But the dude is right about the weaponization now of the administration. Who else are they going to weaponize it against? Folks, as the war in Iran and Israel's war and us sending them tens of billions of dollars and then funding them by sending them more airplanes, missiles, and whatever the hell else we send them, the American public, by and large, is fed up with this. They don't want it. You know, if you look at the demographics of who voted in Kentucky for yesterday, you will see who threw Ed Gein, who threw Ed Gein over the top. Somebody's going to say, you know, it's not Ed Gein. Yeah, I know that. Who threw Ed Gein over the top? Sedentary, elderly, Fox News zombies. Trump said, this will be literally out there seeking to crack skulls open and eat brains. This isn't politics. This is bullying. This is saying the state is superior to the individual. We have an individual and now individuals who are out of line. You are out of line with the Trumps. Most of you, certainly all the Trump Town Kool-Aid drinkers, the Trump Town Kool-Aid drinkers cannot separate the cult of personality from the office. Understand that the office of the presidency of the United States is the most powerful office in the world, on earth. As he has shown, he has an army, he has an air force, he has a navy. He can destroy private and public property that belongs to other people, citizens of other countries, anywhere on earth, if he wants to. And he chooses to wield that power against a member of his own party, literally a rabid dog frothing at the mouth. And then he is willing to do anything. And there is simply nothing. Who are the 4 members of Congress? You can't find it? There's nothing that he wouldn't do to secure his own personal victory. This isn't for you. This is for him. This is so he didn't have to eat a piece of crow. Listen, this is, I was reading this piece here. This is actually pretty good. Ross Barkin, how Trump and the neocons beat Thomas Massie, his politics will endure. I think that's something that you have to keep repeating to yourself. You were not wrong. You were not wrong in wanting to make America great again and do it ethically, morally, and legally. You were not wrong. You weren't wrong yesterday. You weren't wrong in November of last year when you voted. You're not wrong today. You got to remember that. They're the ones that have turned. They promised one thing and then they delivered another. The GOP under Trump has ideological underpinnings, but fealty to Trump comes first. That is the only tangible reality. As Representative Randy Fine put it on X, this is Donald Trump's Republican Party. The rest of us get the privilege of living in it, close quote. Fine, who combines such utter servility to Trump with grossly anti-Muslim rhetoric, quote, the choice between dogs and Muslims is not a difficult one, close quote, fits in much better with the second Trump term than the independent-minded Massie ever could. And Massie realized what he was up against. It wasn't only that Ed Gein, a former Navy SEAL, was personally recruited by Trump to run against him. It was the money. More than $34 million poured into the primary, much of it funding anti-Massie attack ads by pro-Israel groups, making this the most expensive House primary in U.S. history. We're going to have the most expensive House primary in U.S. history. I just want a warm body to replace the worst congressman in all of American history. He's the worst. By far, he's the worst. He's the worst ever. We have to get rid of him. He's a stain on our country. Our country can't afford to have a Thomas Massie in Congress any longer. The Republican Party can't afford it. We have to get rid of him. He's bad. He's bad news. Combined with Trump's frothing opposition and anti-Massie imaging from the likes of Pete Hegseth, it was enough to easily sink him. Rarely has a House primary been about one person, rather than an opposition between two of them. Several months ago, Trump said publicly that he just wanted a warm body to beat Massie. Gein made it clear he would happily serve in that role, promising to back Trump 100%. That was all there was to it. He granted almost no interviews and declined numerous debate invitations from Massie. He was a foot soldier for Trump, going against a Republican who was willing time after time to go his own way. And ultimately, Massie pays the price. Trump reviled the Kentucky Libertarian for holding up a COVID relief bill in 2020, for voting against the Big Beautiful Bill tax and spending package, and for leading the Big Beautiful Bill. No, it was the Big Spending Bill. We talked about that here on the Mike Church Show, and we opposed it. Still do. By the way, other things that we got that Trump wasn't supposed to deliver to the deep state. The reauthorization of the FISA Act. He did that. And for leading the bipartisan fight to force the Injustice Department to release the Epstein files. For Trump, that was the last. That last was the point of no return. Massie would have to suffer for linking up with Democrats like Ro Khanna of California in a bid to seek the truth about the late convicted sex offender. And as Massie said last night, there are CEOs that have been taken out. There's a member of Trump's basically inner circle cabinet who's in those files, who refuses to quit, and he refuses to fire him. Howard Lutkin. We should start calling him Howard Slutkin. If, for the president, Epstein was the breaking point, Massie's greatest political challenge was defying the traditional American foreign policy consensus. Unlike most Republican politicians, Massie was willing to be a principled isolationist. His conservatism on domestic matters translated to a deep skepticism of foreign entanglements. And he was the rare Republican to criticize Netanyahu. That's what really got him. That's what really got him. He was, and you know the rest of it. Why exactly were these AIPAC gloated over his defeat? Being pro-Israel is good policy and good politics, they said last night. The United States of Zion. We have to endure it for now. It's not going to last. Just bear that in mind. Endure it for now. It's not going to last. The demons always overreach. They've overreached. Their day is coming. You should really double down and pray for their conversion to the faith. That's what you should do. That's really the holy response to this, is to be a good Catholic and say, well, I'm not an enemy of the AIPAC people. I want them to stop being Zionists by becoming good Catholics. There you go. Wrap that up. Put it in quotation marks. Mike Church, 20 May 2026. Or you can say that. Miss Cindy in Florida, first up here today on the Mike Church Show on the post-mortem of the Massie primary. Cindy, how are you?
Hey, Mike. I'm okay. So I want to tell you what's going on. First of all, I had James Fish back. It was amazing. And this is, I'm going around to find venues. So I go to this restaurant down the road, which, by the way, they closed by now. And then when I gave his name, said, he calls me the next day, we can't do anything political. I wanted to say, well, that's why you have two people sitting at the bar. Then I went to another one. My neighbor owns the building. They're dying. They're dead now. They're gone. So finally, after like 2 months of this, I finally had it at the library. And I couldn't get the big room. We had standing room only. I have to tell you, working with his team for 4 months was amazing.
Okay.
They call you back. Alex couldn't have been better. I mean, the team is just, I think, fantastic. If I send a direct message to him, a question, he writes me back. He's accessible. He's smart. He's articulate. He said no government contracts with Palantir because Palantir moved their offices to Miami. The GOP is in panic. Let me state, Jay Collins, the lieutenant governor, went down to kiss the ring of Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago.
Right.
When he was coming back, he stopped and did a podcast, and he said, no one has the right to hurt people. Really? So does that mean you're going to enforce the anti-Semitism bill that our governor wrote? I mean, that our governor, went over to Israel and signed, and that Paul Renner, another one, was the one that brought it to the floor. When you look into these people of all the money that they have taken from the Jewish coalition, how about $45 million for, the schools, this, that, and that? How about our schools? How about our schools in Florida?
Cindy, hang on a second, because we're out of time, and I got a guest coming up at the top of the next hour. But I want you to tell Candace or Maggie, I want you to tell her why the Republican Party is in panic, because I want to hear that. Folks, got to take a time out. We'll be right back here. Tyler Dykes is coming up next year, candidate for Congress in South Carolina.
It's not tape or a Post-it or a candy bar, but this new 3M
is the freshest spin on true crime shows since dinosaurs were solving cold cases with fossil evidence. Yeah, it's that original, folks.
Mom's Murders and Mysteries. New episodes debut every Tuesday night, 6:30 East, 4 West, exclusively on the Crusade channel. Live talk podcast radio, the way it should be.
Hi, folks. It's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Road to Independence, the movie. The Road to Independence tells the exciting story of the founding fathers' struggle to declare independence.
Timeline: 7 June 1776. Independence Hall, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
It is a beautiful, sunny Friday morning, and the Continental Congress is in session. The tensions between the colonies and the king have intensified. On May 9,
this animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and are packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Road to Independence on DVD and CD. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723.
Broadcasting 50,000 kilowatts from atop the tallest radio tower on the planet. We are KRSD, the Crusade Channel, Madisonville.
Well, it's what our call letters would be if we were on FM.
Mike Church Show News. News you can trust.
Because let's face it, the truth just sounds different, like a symphony of facts.
And now, here's Magdalene Rose.
Hello, Red, White, and Dude Nation. Welcome to Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. I'm Magdalene Rose at the Mike Church Show News Desk. This report is brought to you by the all-new Mike Church Show website and Dude Nation membership service. Check it out today at theallnewmikechurch.com. Here's what to listen to for this hour. President Donald Trump, his family, and his businesses have been granted immunity from any ongoing audits into their tax affairs, according to a directive by the Department of Justice. The move on Tuesday came as an addendum to Trump's agreement a day earlier to settle a $10 billion lawsuit against the Internal Revenue Service over a leak of his tax information to media outlets between 2018 and 2020. In a one-page document signed by Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, the Justice Department said authorities would be forever barred and precluded from prosecuting or pursuing tax claims against Trump, members of his family, and his businesses. The document, which was posted on the Justice Department's website without any official announcement or press release, stipulates that the waiver applies to inquiries that are currently pending or that could be pending, including any relating to tax returns filed by Trump before Monday's settlement. Democratic lawmakers immediately blasted the move. Senator Adam Schiff of California accused Trump administration of engaging in corruption and self-dealing. Nathan Goldman, a professor of accounting and an tax expert at North Carolina State University, called the move unprecedented. The clause within the settlement that Trump and his family will no longer be subject to the audit process breaks from the current tax policies and puts Trump in a situation where he can pay what he believes is the correct amount without any fear of persecution, Goldman told Al Jazeera. U.S. Representative from Kentucky Thomas Massie lost his Republican primary on Tuesday, becoming the latest Republican lawmaker to anger Donald Trump and then failed to a primary challenger backed by the president. Trump handpicked and endorsed Ed Galeran, whose victory demonstrated Trump's influence over the GOP voting and growing frustration with Massie's opposition to Trump. In recent weeks, with several other Republicans, they have been defeated by Donald Trump's endorsed candidates, including Senator Bill Cassidy in Louisiana and including several state senators who defied him on redistricting. Massie, who has served in Congress since 2012, was one of the most outspoken holdouts. He pushed for the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files, criticized the war in Iran, and voted against the president's signature tax legislation last year. Still, he tried to convince voters that he could be there both for Donald Trump and to represent their own interests. In National Calendar Day news, today is National Rescue Dog Day. Our quote of the day: "Be who God meant you to be, and you will set the world on fire." St. Catherine of Siena.
Membership has its privileges.
American Express was right back in the 1970s. Membership has its privileges, and no membership privilege is greater to a Red, White, and Dude Nation listener than membership in the elite membership club that is the Dude Number. Here's Lee to tell you how to get yours.
That's right, King Dude. Membership does have its privileges. And when it comes to the Dude Number, applying for membership has never been easier. Just head to mikechurch.com/dude to start the membership process. Your unique and one-of-a-kind membership and all the privileges that come with it awaits you. As a member, you'll enjoy private chat groups, VIP privileges to all Mike Church show events, early access to new Dude-geared store items, and of course, your unique Dude Number.
Dude 1210 reporting all quiet on the Eastern Front.
This is Mike's favorite punching bag, Dude number 13.
Hi, this is Steve. My dude number is 2112.
Dude number 2004, proud member of the Red, White, and Dude Nation, reporting for duty.
Become a part of something bigger than any talk show there is and apply for your Dude Number today at mikechurch.com/dude.
Membership has its privileges.
Looking at lifestyle and cultural headlines, our Saint of the Day. Learn about today's Saint of the Day and today's Saint of the Day podcast at crusadechannel.com/saint. The GOP-controlled South Carolina House approved a redrawn congressional map that would carve up the state's only majority black district. The proposal, which would also delay South Carolina's June 9th House primaries in August, heads next week to the state Senate. By targeting the seat represented by longtime Democratic Rep. James Clyburn, Republicans are seeking to put themselves in position to have full control of South Carolina's congressional delegation. South Carolina is one of several southern states that have moved to enact new congressional district lines after the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling that weakened the Voting Rights Act last month. Do not ever doubt President Trump and his political power, White House Communications Director Stephen Chung said in a post on his social media platform X after Massie's race was called F Around Find Out Kentucky, along with Georgia, Alabama, Idaho, Pennsylvania, and Oregon, saw Tuesday primaries began to solidify key matchups for congressional and gubernatorial races as the fight for control of Washington and beyond continues on. Other Trump endorsements like Kentucky Senate candidate Rep. Andy Barr and Georgia GOP gubernatorial candidate Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones also fared well in their respective contests, either winning their primaries or advancing to a runoff. Donald Trump continues to wage war with Iran, with no peace deal being reached and increasingly conversations dying out. It remains to be seen whether or not Jared Kushner and the small U.S. delegation will make any headway without a massive amount of American concessions. There are growing calls for Senate Majority Leader John Thune to step down due to ineffectiveness, with the most diehard Republicans routinely complaining about his lack of effort to pass the SAVE Act. It remains to be seen whether or not President Trump will use his political capital to make him step down. I'm Magdalene Rose for the Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation, because ethics in broadcasting matters.
Hey folks, these days when it comes to all things that taste good and keep us happy and well fed, more Americans than ever are looking for homegrown, small batch, made from all natural, American ingredients, cooking products and spices. Well, in 2009, me and two buddies decided if we were going to keep entering barbecue cook-off competitions, we needed our own rub. And after 5 years of trial and error, heartache and sweat, and a couple of fistfights, we finally settled upon the seasoning that you have come to know and love, my world-famous Beast and Butt Rub. And I still offer each backyard grill master and indoor range ruler my money-back guarantee. If you don't love and think that my Beast and Butt Rub is the best and most essential spice in your arsenal, I'll buy it back from you.
Wow, that's one heck of a guarantee. A guarantee that I can personally tell you the King Dude will not have to honor with me. Because not only am I a spokeswoman, I am also one of those range-ruling chefs. Get your bottle or case of 12 of Beast and Butt Rub today at mikechurch.com/rub. That's mikechurch.com/rub.
Hey, Mrs. McGillicuddy, don't be a satellite radio snob and pass by the Mike Church Show. Come on in and browse.
May I help you?
Oh, no thanks, just browsing.
How long do you intend to browse?
Well, that lady there. You don't ask her how long she intends to browse. How come you're asking us how long we intend to browse?
You don't look like browsers.
Now that that's over,
How about a Fresca?
The Mike Church Show, entertaining browsers and fans since 1992 on the Veritas Radio Networks. Crusade.
Bum, 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 bum. Yes, a Superman is needed here in this day and age. Mike Church Show here on the Ethics and Broadcasting Network. The day after the Kentucky primaries. There were other primaries yesterday, too. And now all of the post-mortem second-guessing can begin. This portion of the program brought to you by the Dude Gear Store at shop.mikechurch.com. At shop.mikechurch.com. A very special new product is coming to the Dude Gear Store later today, and you'll get a chance to hear it all day Friday, all day Saturday, and all day Memorial Day, if in want to. And that is America Goes to War, 100 years of America's wars. So most Memorial Day movie festivals or marathons or whatever focus on World War II and the Vietnam War. Every once in a while, you might get a Korean War thrown in there. But it's usually the focus is WW2 and the Vietnam War. But Memorial Day goes all the way back to the French and Indian War in 1758. It certainly goes all the way back to Bunker Hill, Lexington and Concord, the Battle of Monmouth, Yorktown, the Battle of Charleston, and I'm speaking, of course, of the Revolutionary War. So I decided that I wanted to do the Memorial Day differently. So I went and looked in search of, were there radio dramas during the golden age of radio when Orson Welles was running the Mercury Theater, when NBC, CBS, and ABC and the Mutual Broadcasting System were the four big players and were competing for Hollywood A-list talent for their radio shows. And lo and behold, there were. So you are going to get this Friday stuff that probably hasn't been heard by anyone, oh gosh, in 50 years. From the Revolutionary War, and then there's a twist in there, and then the Civil War. So here's the lineup. Stamp Act Rebellion, and this is from a show called You Are There. You Are There is really, I bought it. I just bought the entire CD collection of You Are There, and I'm going to start running it after Memorial Day right on the Crusade channel. Stamp Act Rebellion, Hold Bunker Hill. I could not find an old radio drama that anyone ever made about Bunker Hill. So I made one out of my movies, The Road to Independence, the movie, and The Road to Independence, the audio set. So I strung those two together, and it's a really cool 25 minutes about Bunker Hill and about Lexington and Concord, and, well, you'll hear it. Number 3, The Alamo. They did make a special about the Alamo, and it's really cool. So that's the wild card. The bombardment of Fort Sumpter is a You Are There. Lexington and Concord is a You Are There. The first Battle of Bull Run is a You Are There episode. Nathan Hale. And there's a ship named the USS Nathan Hale. Nathan Hale's story was told by a radio series called American Cavalcade. The Monitor and the Merrimack is number 8. Valley Forge is number 9. That's another American Cavalcade. The Battle of Gettysburg, that's a You Are There. We Hold These Truths. Now, this is the most fascinating of all. It's an hour long, a little over an hour long. It was broadcast on the December the 11th, 1941, days after the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor and Roosevelt addressed Congress. So it's an interesting thing here. They went ahead with the broadcast for the 150th anniversary of the passage of the Bill of Rights. And had all A-list talent there, and they simulcast it on ABC, CBS, NBC, and Mutual. It's estimated that 65 million people heard We Hold These Truths. It's got Jimmy Stewart, it's got Edward G. Robinson, it's got Lionel Barrymore. You'll recognize all the voices. And then we fittingly wrap up Memorial Day, the Memorial Day America Goes to War. Mike Church presents America Goes to War, 100 Years of War, with Lee and Grant at Appomattox. Here's the cool thing. I put it together as a box set. So if you want them and you're a premium Dude Nation member, you got them. They will be available. It's not available right now, but it will be made available as a single download box set that you can get at podcast.mikechurch.com. Don't cost nothing.
0.0.
If you're a bronze or a silver member and you want them, well, you can get the download for $17.76. Or you could just take that $17.76 and upgrade to gold by going to mikechurch.com/join, and then you'll have access. So that is coming up Memorial Day. This Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Memorial Day, Monday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. If you're listening or watching on the Crusade channel. And we're also going to simulcast it on YouTube. And we'll throw some images and some graphics and stuff in there and make it a really nice presentation for the U-boot. So if you're out and about and you can't figure, you don't have access to the Crusade Channel app to listen to it, you should, you can always get it on U-boot. So all that's coming up, and that's really cool. All right, Maggie, can we go back to Paul Reichhoff, the guy from CNN where you paused the soundbite? Because I'm reading all the recriminations now. Sean Davis has a recrimination at the Federalist. And Sean Davis said, Massie brought this on himself. What Sean Davis is surprisingly saying to me is Massie went principled. And what he should have done is gone political. Well, isn't that what people complain about members of Congress doing, is going political, Sean? I don't get you and Andrew McCarthy listing all of Massie's mistakes, and I just vehemently disagree with you on both of you on this. I think you're both just wrong. And let me say this, and this to me is the kicker about what was Massie supposed to do. Would you have a Republican majority that did what Massie followed the Constitution in their moral conscience, what Massie said to do? You might get a Republican landslide in the midterms this November, because it would produce the kind of results people were promised in the campaigns in 2024. Instead, you get, it's my way or the highway. I want all 7 swing states. Massie's gone. Nanya, nanya, boo-boo. Hey, hey, goodbye. Sean Davis, Massie lost because he went from being perceived as a quirky but lovable nerd who seemed to genuinely believe everything he said to looking like a clout-chasing influencer who cared more about getting TV time with Democrats on an issue he clearly never cared about until 5 minutes ago than he did about representing his voters. He's talking about the Epstein files. Sean, I don't think that that's true. And I also don't think that he had that there was any possibility that he could even get the discharge petition to the floor of the Congress. Remember, him and Marjorie Taylor Greene were working on that for an entire year with Trump telling them to stop. And to that end, Sean Davis, I'm talking to you. You know why Massie lost? Because of Trump. He didn't lose because of Massie. If Trump stays the hell out of it, Ed Gein also ran. He lost because of Trump and Israel. Now, Daniel McCarthy has a different take on it, equally incorrect. So what are you saying? We all need yes men for Israel? We should just tell our political class to shut up and just take the money and shut up? What happens when a Republican congressman turns his primary election into a referendum on Donald Trump? He hardly even mentioned Trump, Daniel. What are you talking about? Every time he mentioned Trump, he goes, I haven't said anything bad about the president, because he didn't. What happens when he turns it into a referendum on Israel? The answer to those questions should be stunningly obvious. You lose. Well, then there's something wrong with a system that produces losers, because they say a foreign government should not be running our government, Daniel. This is why I can't work with or for any of these people. I just can't. There is... Russell Kirk used to say that you can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Okay, fine. That sounds great. And I've quoted it from time to time. Well, you can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. You have to, sometimes, you just have to, like John Boehner said once upon a time. What's a crap sandwich? What's a good crap sandwich? We can just get the votes to pass it. He was talking about the TARP bailout. I didn't get anything out of the TARP bailout. I didn't get anything out of AIG bailout. I didn't get anything out of Chrysler, GM, and Ford being bailed out. What, are going to get a bailout, aren't they? I didn't get anything about all the short sales that went under and belly up in the real estate market. As a matter of fact, I took a hit like everyone else. Why do they get bailed out? Because our system is crooked and corrupt. And if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, as George Carlin used to say. So, why did Thomas Massie lose? He lost because Trump. And he lost because Israel. There is no way Ed Gein wins that primary without the $34 million and Trump and Israel. And by the way, why are we acting as though spending $34 million by a foreign lobbyist to buy influence in a congressional district in the United States? In decades gone by, I can remember a time where somebody might think that that's actually an act of treason. It's giving aid and comfort. So now that the second guessers are all getting their shots in, well, this is why. You know what this reminds me? This reminds me of ESPN after a sporting event, or before before the sporting event, they have all the prognosticators, Charles Barkley and all of them get on there. Oh, that reminds me. Maggie, you have to find the Shaq. You have to find the Shaq clip when he got his master's degree at LSU last week. Oh, it's so fun. So it's priceless. It's absolutely priceless. So let me set it up if you're listening already, because you can't see this. Shaquille O'Neal, obviously 7'2", you can't miss him. So he's getting his master's degree. He goes back to LSU, his alma mater, to finish his college, to get his master's degree. Not that he needs it. And who doesn't like Shaq? I mean, everybody likes Shaq. So he's standing there, all 7'2", waiting for the woman to call his name. Because she calls the name of the graduate, then the graduate walks over, and then the dean of that school hands them the diploma, shakes her hand, they pose for a picture. You all know the drill. So Shaq is standing there, and he taps the lady with the microphone on the shoulder. And then he leans down, and it's a big lean because she's about 5 foot tall, and he's 7'2". He leans down, and he tells her something, and this is what he told her to say.
It takes a little while to get to that.
Yeah, I know that. It's fine. Okay, there's Shaq. The crowd goes nuts.
Shaquille, I hate Charles Barkley O'Neal.
If you didn't catch it, and Shaquille, I hate Charles Barkley O'Neal. Oh, it's so priceless. Shaquille, I hate Charles Barkley. But back to the ESPN analogy. They come on before and they're, well, I think this game's going to be played like this. Well, obviously, the team that scores the most points is going to win. At the end of the day, I don't care who it is. It doesn't matter if it's Phil Simms, Chris Berman. It doesn't matter who it is. They all say the same thing. Well, at the end of the day, whoever scores the most points is going to win. No, you jest. No, I don't jest. Don't call me Shirley. Then the game is played. Nothing of what they said was going to happen happens. And then afterwards, it's like, well, that team didn't score the most points, and so they lost. No, at the end of the day, that guy didn't have his best game here. If he'd have stayed closer to the lane and played defense, they might have been able to do this and the others. It's just a bunch. It's such BS. It doesn't even kill time. I still don't understand sports talk radio and why anyone listens to it. Unless it's the call-in show after a game where the local fans get to yell and scream their disapproval or approval of the Saints or whatever team it is. I don't get it. It's a complete and total idle, misspent, and waste of time. Well, that's what most of this political posturing and jawboning on endlessly is about why Massie lost. No one is asking a question of the dangers, except the CNN guy, of the dangers of weaponizing the government of the United States. It's weaponized. Trump is weaponized. You accused Biden of doing it for 3 years. You voted for him because he accused Biden of doing it. And now we're going to have the greatest weaponized government like Alphonse Capone. No one's ever seen anything like it. We're going to be more crooked than Nixon. My sons are going to make more money. Hunter Biden is a piker. Nothing that Hunter. He chump change at $80,000 a month. My boys are raking in $1.8 a day. No one's ever seen corruption like it. No one's ever seen anything like it. So, Paul Rykoff, play where you left off. We're a couple of minutes in on this clip if you didn't hear it earlier. But the dude just makes a lot of sense, and he's on CNN.
Angry middle, right? The 45% of America that's unaffiliated and independent, millions that can't vote in these primaries are fed up with all. The question is, does Massie leave the party? Does someone like Don Bacon leave the party? Does someone on the left like Jaron Golden leave the party? Because there is a huge middle that is longing for people to run against both parties and the broken primary system, which accelerates, I think 90% of congressional campaigns are over after the primary, 80% of Senate campaigns. So most of the state in Kentucky didn't even vote. And they have a new congressman potentially that they had no say in. That's broken, and tonight is really a glaring example of how broken our electoral system is. The future is SE Cup. The future is the 45% of Americans who are unaffiliated. and independent. 10,000 people are leaving the Democratic and Republican Party every single week. 60% of young people.
Count 10,001 today.
Because they're saying none of the above.
Yeah.
And the reality is that most people are leaving the Republican Party, but they're not joining the Democratic Party. And they're leaving the Democratic Party and not joining the Republican Party.
Nope.
And what happens when you do is you get 7% because they don't trust you. They're looking for people who are truly authentic, who have integrity, and who are independent. And they can win. We've seen it in local races. The mayor of Colorado Springs is an independent, Yemi Mobilati. The mayor of Chattanooga, Tennessee, Tim Kelly, is an independent. Angus King is in the Senate. He's an independent. There are 3 Senate candidates that can win in places Democrats
Which
can't.
is interesting, because you would say, obviously, if you look at a state like Georgia.
And people are rejecting all of the status quo on all sides right now, and especially young people. They want leaders, not people who say, my calculus is. They want to hear people who stand up and lead and show integrity and will fight.
The base gets smaller as long as he controls the base.
Right.
At 100%.
I have a different take. I think that it's much bigger than tonight. And we just spent an hour talking about Thomas Massie, a guy that maybe many Americans don't even know his name. Even if he loses tonight, he's not going anywhere. And he represents a mass of people in this country who don't want war in Iran, who want the Epstein files, who don't like tariffs and don't like Trump. That sounds like a pretty viable presidential candidate, especially if you run within the party against Trump or if you decide to declare your independence after this race tonight. I mean, this can be much more than a concession speech. This can be the relaunching of something else that speaks to a lot of people in America if Massie seizes that opportunity.
So I think that what he's saying here, the base got shrank last night. honey, I shrank the party. I won. Massie lost. Me and Bibi were the big winners tonight, baby. Get ready for some action. Because I'm hot tonight. We got the hottest country and the hottest party in the world. We won. You shrank the party. Because people like me are going to go, and I am going to go, and I am going to do it. Threatened to do it before. I'm going to do it. I am going to go register as an independent. I am finished. So are many other people. Just going to go, you know what, KingDude, you should have done this along. Okay, you can second guess me too, but I am now committed to it. I am not alone. That is not nothing.
You want your talk radio shaken.
Too many free radicals.
Free radicals, sir?
Too much red meat and white bread. And too many dry martinis.
Not stirred.
Then I shall cut out the white bread, sir.
Truth never dies on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
Hello, Red, White, and Dude Nation. I'm Magdalene Rose at the Mike Church Show News Desk with your crucials for Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. Here's your In the Market report. Major U.S. stock indexes closed mixed yesterday, with the Dow edging up while tech-heavy indexes declined as investors monitored rising Treasury yields and geopolitical headlines. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed up 0.32%. The S&P 500 closed down 0.07%. The Nasdaq Composite closed down 0.51%, and the Russell 2000 closed down 0.7%. The tech sector dragged the market down, continuing a multi-day sell-off. Investor sentiment fluctuated alongside crude oil prices due to escalating tensions and negotiations regarding the war in Iran. Dominion Energy shares surged over 9% following its $67 billion acquisition agreement with NextEra Energy. The 10-year Treasury yields rose, hitting the highest level in over a year. The U.S. consumer economy continues to hold strong, with purchase power and retail power growing amid a loss of jobs in the white-collar sector, particularly amongst millennials. This report is brought to you by the all-new Mike Church Show website and Dude Nation membership service. Check it out today at theallnewmikechurch.com. I'm Magdalene Rose with the Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation.
Hi, folks. It's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Spirit of 76. The Spirit of 76 details the true story of the writing and ratifying of the U.S. Constitution.
Who authorized them to speak the language of we, the people, instead of we, the states? States are the characteristics and the soul of a confederation. If the states be not the agents of this compact, it must be one great...
This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and is packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Spirit of 76 on a 2-DVD or 3-CD set. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723. Most Memorial Day movie marathons focus exclusively on World War II and the Vietnam War, entirely skipping the war that founded America, the Revolutionary War, and the most momentous war ever on this continent, the War of Northern Aggression, also known as the Civil War. That's why I have put together a one-of-a-kind Memorial Day marathon I call America at War, from Bunkers Hill to Appomattox, featuring the greatest radio dramas ever made and starring Hollywood's biggest stars from the 40s and 50s.
James Stewart, Lionel Barrymore, Orson Welles, Cary Grant, and many more. This is a Mike Church Show exclusive. Showtimes are this Friday and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Memorial Day, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Dude Nation Gold members and up can also download the box set of 12 radio dramas at podcast.mikechurch.com.
This Memorial Day weekend, don't miss Mike Church presents America at War, from Bunkers Hill to Appomattox.
Broadcasting at crusadechannel.com, mikechurch.com, and our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Real KingDude. The Crusade Channel, talk radio the way it should be. Broadcasting live from Madisonville, Louisiana, and streaming 24/7 at crusadechannel.com. Holding a PhD at the KingDude Center for Constitutional Studies, The Mike Church Show. Delivering over 180 minutes of teleprompter-free entertainment, wisdom, and knowledge every single day.
Brothers Johnson were the biggest pop act in the late 1970s. They did this song. They did a huge #1 hit. Some of you will recall. Strawberry Letter 22. That's the BJ, the Brothers Johnson. I wonder, it's one of those people, those acts that I wonder, what in the wide world of sports happened to the Brothers Johnson? We may never find out, but tomorrow night on Thursday Night Throwdown, okay, did anyone go and vote in the poll? Do I even have the link? Hold on, I'll tell you if anyone went and voted in the poll. No, they didn't. You know, you people, we're going to redo the Crusader Mike Church Show Stadium chat room, take it from and off of Rumble Talk, and we're going to run our own chat here very soon. I'm going to make it one of the conditions that when you go to log in, if you haven't completed the task that the show host has asked you to complete, it's going to deny you access to the room. I was going to say, did you go and vote in the poll? Mike asked you to vote? No, you can't come in. So I'm just going to make sense. Nobody gives a rat's furry behind, except me and Jeff Johnson. Nobody cares, so I will make the executive decision. We're going to do Thursday Night Throwdown tomorrow night with bang, and if you show up, you show up. If you don't, you don't. Tough for you. We're going to do the Great American Folk Song Throwdown. So if that's what you voted for, all two of you, actually one, because I was the first vote. I voted. So me and Matt, so that means none of you went there. Well, I got to tell you, man.
0.
How has this crusade lasted 10 years with this kind of apathy?
Mother Mary.
It's got to be the greatest. There has to be a supernatural force, because there's no way we could have made it without Marian and heavenly intervention. Lori Calhoun on X says, KingDude, you're not alone. I dropped my Republican registration long ago and went as an independent. I think that Trump is basically, you could sit out there and you could say, well, I'm going to stay as a Republican because I want to vote in the primaries. Why? Why? They've just proven to you that they pick the winners and the losers. What good is it? To me, the single biggest takeaway of everything that happened in Kentucky and with Massie and has happened in the Trump administration since January the 20th, 2025, the biggest single event, and this is just, it's overbearing, it's so glaring, you can't miss it, is it stopped being about you. And it all became about him. I hope everyone sees this. It stopped being about you, the American people, that I campaigned for the man and said, no, he likes the little guy. He likes going to the events. He likes talking to him. He likes small business people. And maybe at that time he did. Or maybe he was just putting on a really good show. It's all about him now. You don't think in that sick, twisted, egomaniacal mind of his, all he is thinking, how tall is my face? Which side are they going to put me on Rushmore? Am I going to be next to Washington or am I going to be next to Roosevelt? I think I should overshadow Washington. I'm the new father of the country. 7 people. I won 7 swing states. It stopped being about you. And I think that, look, the entirety of the Obama presidency was about him. And all of you hated it. There was hardly a nanosecond that you could even remember, maybe when they announced that they had killed bin Laden, that any of us went, yay, Obama, yay, hope and change, yay, purple, yay, post-racist president. Lies, all lies. It was all about him. The Biden regime was all about him. And it was all about him staking his claim as the guy who sided with resolute evil and imposed it on you. It was never about, none of it was about you. This is the problem with secular government and with republicanism and with democracy. It's almost always about them and never about you. The lie is that, oh no, I represented the Republic. They care about us. They just want to do the best by us. My representative, Kim Carver, here in Louisiana, I didn't tell him to vote for a resolution in the Louisiana House that would make it a crime. Oh, no, it wouldn't make it a crime. It would make it illegal for the state to award a business contract to anyone who had been identified as ever having boycotted Israel. I talked about that. I've been talking about this for weeks. Why did you vote for that? I didn't ask you to vote for that. I didn't even ask for that. Who asked for that? As I said 2 weeks ago, if anything, change Israel to France. We have more in common with the French. Did Kim Carver do that for me? No, he did not. Did he do it for any of the Jewish people in Louisiana? No, he did not. He did it so that the AIPAC money would continue to flow and that he could say that he wasn't an anti-Semite. Well, no, I voted against I can't be an anti-Semite. I was reading E.F. Schumacher last night. I tried to read after I realized that Massie had lost because I had to medicate myself with some bourbon. So I took a medicinal bourbon, and I was blousing around, and I was seeing the head spiking in the end zone of the Trump Town Kool-Aid drinkers. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to turn the social media off, and I'm going to chill my brain out. I'm going to try and read. So I tried to read some Schumacher. Small is beautiful. And I might have made it through a page or two. And it was just the perfect 2 pages to read because he was writing about the scale of things and about how he gave 6 instances in which the people that were then in the 1970s, early 70s, promoting this thing called evolution, of why they were wrong, and they were into 6 different reasons why they were wrong. And each one of the reasons basically ended with, and they deny God, and they deny God, and they deny God, and they deny God. And he kept going on. It goes on for like 2 pages. And then Shoemaker says, at the end of the day, if you're a Darwinist or you're an atheist, why do you do anything? What is even your purpose? What is the point of your existence? If there is no God and there was no creator, what does anything even matter? When you think about, well, I think I want to think about the bigger things in life. I think I want to, why? Life is like a bowl of cherries, they used to joke and tell us. No, life is a crucifix that you turn in to a bowl of cherries. We've all been given the crucifix being American citizens at this moment. And at this time, with these politics. So, what are we to do with them? This is the question. No one is asking this question. I've been to every conservative blog. They're either spiking heads in the end zone and celebrating that Trump beat Massie, Trump and Netanyahu and Israel beat Massie. And we get to continue bombing the snot out of the Iranians and starting new foreign wars and whatever the hell else comes along with that. Or they're saying where Massie went wrong. No one is saying that Trump was ever wrong. This is the common denominator here. Sean Davis, editor of The Federalist, Daniel McCarthy, editor of The Spectator, neither one of them are saying that Trump did anything wrong. No, he's just being Trump. No, that's wrong. What are we? Have we reached the Fonzie presidency now? Is this Arthur Fonzarelli in the White House? Hey. Remember the episode, if you're a Happy Days fan, where Marion Ross, who played the mom, said, well, Fonzie, what you just need to do is you just need to go and say that you were wrong. And I so love Henry Winkler, the actor. And
a picture of him came up on Facebook on the post.
And Henry Winkler, as Arthur Fonzarelli says, hey, Mrs. C, the Fonz is never wrong. And she goes, oh, no, Arthur. She called him Arthur, right? She goes, oh, no, Arthur, I'm pretty sure that in this one you were wrong, and you just need to go and say that you're wrong, and they'll forgive you. And he goes, oh, Mrs. C, I don't even know if I can say the word. And he pretends like he can't say the word. So he goes to Richie Cunningham, the son, and Potsy and whoever, and he goes, hey, guys, hey. Yeah, I got, about that thing that happened. Well, I was he couldn't say wrong. And so finally, Ron Howard, who played Richie Cunningham, finishes and Patsy, you were Fonzie, you were wrong. Yeah, that's it, Richie. We called him Cunningham. That's it, Cunningham. That's right. Yeah, what you said. So he never actually said that's Trump. In a nutshell, we have the Fonzie presidency. Hey, I'm never, and you know it. No one's ever been as corrupt. Not even Chester Arthur. I'm the greatest. No one's ever seen anything like this corruption. It's the greatest of all time. I'm just looking through the rest of the cut sheet. Oh, such a great show closer story. You do not tune out, folks. There's a phenomenal story that has come out. Who did the interview of Tim Sparks? Okay, 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes did a story that everyone is going to be motivated, or you're going to get that warm, fuzzy, I'm glad and I'm a American citizen, all is not lost feeling when we talk about it. Meanwhile, let's go to the Dude Maker Hotline. Magdalene Rose, our political affairs contributor on the Dude Maker Hotline on the day after the Trump-Netanyahu-Israel defeat of Congressman Massie. Magdalene, what are they saying out there on the interwebs?
Well, they're saying that Massie is sort of like just another person to go down for objecting to the basics of Donald Trump's lunacy. And it's a very sad thing, but I will tell you, libertarians are enraged. Libertarians view it as one of the biggest betrayals they've ever seen, and I don't disagree with them.
Well, why shouldn't young conservatives be outraged? Because this was also an assault on them.
Well, I think they are, but I've just been speaking with young libertarians and libertarians in that world since last night. And the thing that I keep hearing is we have, meeting them, they're like, we have 2 or 3 fighters in all of the United States government. We have Rand Paul, we sometimes have another, and we have Thomas Massie. And Donald Trump couldn't let us have this representation. He couldn't let us just exist. Because why? Because Thomas Massie had questions for him. And I think it's gotten to a point where they feel like they can't have anything.
Well, he shrank the party last night. Honey, I shrank the party. Look how small it is. No one's ever seen anything like it. Riley Gaines comes in 5th. I'm the greatest. I'm like Muhammad Ali. I think I want my statue to be rhodium. I don't want it to be gold. No golden calves. I want it rhodium. It's not much. It's more expensive. I'm worthy of it. Rhodium. It's also radioactive. So yeah, maybe you should get a rhodium statue. But young conservatives, but young conservatives should be equally outraged. Look, the size of the party. I can tell you, there's at least 2 people that are going to unregister as Republicans today. That's me and Ms. O'Connell. I've been saying I was going to do it, and I stayed in. I didn't because I wanted to vote in Republican primaries. That's just stupid. I don't care anymore. I'm going, if not today, when I go in that direction, because it's 10 miles that way I got to go. When I go in that direction, I'm going to the DMV.
You can do it online now.
Oh, I can do it online? I'm doing it today. And I will show all of you my new voter registration card. I'm out. I quit. I can't be alone.
No, you won't be alone. And I've seen literal people reschedule. I've seen literal people say they're going to change their voter card today. And I think part of the problem here is that Republicans are winning, yes, in terms of Trump's political strategy, but just because you're victorious in your op efforts does not mean it's a good thing for the party. This is the thing I don't understand about Stephen Miller. He is not an idiot. He has to know that just because, yes, he's technically won this for Donald Trump, he's not winning it for America, though. You're going to tell me that the money to oust Massie wouldn't have been better spent trying to oust a couple Democrats in purple areas, meaning they lean sort of red, in a few months. And this is what I don't understand about Tim Scott and the RNC Finance Committee. They're supposed to be in charge of everything in this regard, and yet all these resources went to ousting Massie in a primary. It's egregious.
Well, think about it from an ethical and moral point of view. If there are poor Americans out there who are struggling and are hungry or homeless or whatever, how many homeless people could have been made homed with $34 million?
Imagine what you could do in that district.
Imagine what you could do in that district with $34 million. How many poor and impoverished people? Kentucky is a relatively rural, poor state, right? Imagine how the lives of so many people could have been improved with the same amount of money, with $34 million. Instead, you got signed up to build more bombs, send more soldiers to die, to squander more resources that you're never going to get back, so that an egomaniac can say he got a W. And I shrank the party. Look at it. It's so... No one's ever seen anything like it. It's so small. The result of this is going to be a smaller Republican Party. And you're now not going to have the base. You know what? There may be a new base forming. And it may be that it's a more, if not completely, libertarian-oriented base. Screw the Republican Party. You can't get it to do what you want it to do. And it does the things that you don't want it to do. You know, at the end of the day, what is a party's job? I'm the only person in politics that says this. This is the truth. What's the party's job? Raise money, field candidates, win elections. That's it. It has no ideology. People think the party stands for it. No, it doesn't. Bull crap. Raise money, field candidates, identify field candidates, and run candidates, and win elections. That's the three things that it does, and that's all that it does. It doesn't do anything else. Well, the Republicans now are going to have trouble finding candidates who wants to be thrown under the bus by Trump, and they're going to have trouble then raising money. I'm not giving you any. Not that I ever did. I might have given Trump a donation once. You're never going to get another nickel from me. And Magdalene, it's not that there's going to be a Democrat blue wave, because people hate the Democrats just as much as the Republicans now. It's going to be that Republican primary, the people that vote in regular elections, not primaries, us, we're not going to vote. You're going to have a 40% turnout in the midterms. So which party then wins the low turnout contest?
Well, and that's going to be the problem here, is that Democrats, when they seize an opportunity, it doesn't take much for them to get elected. Republicans, we have to have energy, we have to have high turnout, we have to have all of that. And with the Massie thing, it's just so ridiculous. Like, I don't understand why this had to happen. I think that Massie and Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene all fall into this odd category of they want Trump to be extremely honest and transparent, and they expected him to, and he didn't do it. And this is sort of like the fallout of going with the libertarians. If Donald Trump didn't want this to happen, he shouldn't have spoken to libertarians. He shouldn't have gone to the Libertarian Convention. He courted them. He begged them to vote for him.
He did.
And then he threw out their main guy. And he also sidelines Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, let's be honest, every day. She doesn't know what's happening most of the time. He kept her out of Venezuela because he thought she would think it was too interventionist. He pushed her out constantly. So he sidelined Tulsi Gabbard. He hate tweets Rand Paul every 3 months. And he kicked Thomas Massie out. So if you're a libertarian voter, you are not happy with him right now.
And remember, Magdalene, when he went to the Libertarian Convention and they let him speak, remember how livid so many of the people that were in that room, they booed him. He goes, you can boo me all you want. You know, you're losers. You're never going to win. You can boo me all you want. I'm your only chance to win. I'm your only. And he wasn't wrong about that, but he had no intention of honoring anything that could be considered libertarian. I want to play here. Play digital media file number 4. Now, a couple of things here. Thomas Massie, who is now being savaged by everyone on the right except me. I'm the only one. They're all throwing him under the bus. He should have done this. He should have done that. Look, you recriminations, man. You know what? If Drew Brees had spotted Jeremy, what was the guy from the New York Giants, the tight end dude, tatted it all up. Jeremy, whatever. If he'd have spotted the tight end in that game against the Rams and not the wide receiver and thrown it to him, and he still would have gotten a first down, and we would have gone to the Super Bowl for a second time. So I'm recriminating Drew Brees. You shouldn't have thrown the out route so that the St. Louis guy could, or the Los Angeles guy could jump the route and knock our receiver down 2 seconds before the ball got there. It was all on Brees. He telegraphed the pass. So if you want to play the second-guessing game, we can play that from now until the cows come home. No one on the right is blaming Trump. He's the one that did this. Massie did not do this. Massie beats Ed Gein 68-32 yesterday. So here's part of the concession.
If you always vote with the president, if the legislative branch always votes with the president, we do have a king. If the legislative branch always votes whichever way the wind is blowing, then we have mob rule. But if the legislative branch and the representatives and the senators that serve with it always follow the Constitution, we have a republic.
What now? That is 100% Mike Church Show certified USRWD correct. Is it not?
No, it is. I don't disagree with anything that Thomas Massie World is putting out. I think the one thing, though, about Thomas Massie, which we've now heard about, like in the local politics of it all, apparently female voters didn't like in his district him getting remarried so fast. And I had said this, and I had asked him concerns about it, and a lot of people had cautioned him against this. I'm not talking about nationally or on X, literal women who live in his district, who knew him and his wife, and had known them. I think he's been in office since 2012. So they were like pillars of the community. They hosted barbecues, all of this. Apparently, women in his district thought it was weird and creepy. And the problem here was it opened the door for the accusations against him on other fronts. So one thing here, which is not Donald Trump's fault, is that Thomas Massie, I know we're not supposed to listen to the political experts, but maybe when they tell you in a tight race with women who view you and your wife as like the golden people of the district, maybe don't get remarried so quickly, because I think that hurt him, and that's what female voters, especially older female voters, have been saying in all the exit polls now.
So, okay, so again, the 19th Amendment screwed everything up. Women screwed everything up. I will still wager you. I will bet this house, pink slips they used to call it. I'll bet my Saturn out there that even with that, if Trump and Israel stays out, he still handily beats Ed Gein.
Oh, yeah. No, I think so. I'm just commenting on another fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it worth eight? Is that vote worth 8 percentage points?
No.
Okay.
No. He would have beaten him. But the problem was Massie opened a little weird door for people like Laura Loomer and others to comment on it. And this was the problem here. I do think that Massie maybe was not particularly smart in his strategy here. I would have gone like even more about the issues and even more about that. I think Massie got a little bit confused. But the other side of this is Massie wouldn't have been in a tight primary race if not for Donald Trump. Like maybe he would have lost a percentage of women, but also if that was the issue and women didn't like him getting remarried, he would have been able to spend quite a bit of time just with female voters in his district, introducing them to his wife and talking to them. So that in and of itself could have been alleviated without Donald Trump's intervention.
Well, and then again, you're left with, and by the way, Trump wants everyone to think it was him. This is just me as a prognosticator, as a commentator saying it. He's proclaiming victory. I won. Yeah. He lost. I won. So, when the bully comes after you and he's trying to steal your lunch money, you can either confront the bully or you can keep giving him your lunch money. Massie decided that I think I'm going to confront the bully. You can second guess the campaign from now until the proverbial cows come home. Trump made unforced campaign stupid errors in 2024 too. I think that they all do. No one runs just a perfect, pristine campaign. Unless you're just like Jeff Landry here in Louisiana that was just basically going to get coronated. There was no way A.G. Landry was going to lose because of what he did for the people of Louisiana by standing up to the former governor, Emperor Bell Bonaparte IV. He was going to win. And there was, I happen to know this. You don't know this, Magdalene. No, people that live in Louisiana, the mayor of Doosan doesn't know this. I know this, and I know it because I was in on it. I was there. There was a meeting. Well, I wasn't there, but I was told after the fact. There was a meeting. And they were, John Schroeder, the former Treasury, got together with his campaign advisors, and there were some things that were in Landry's past, and they were going to go scorched earth against Jeff Landry. And they would have done it. The only reason they didn't do it is because the polling showed that it wouldn't matter. That Landry was still beat Schroeder by 20 points in the primary. And that's the only reason that it didn't happen. So that then became the perfect campaign. Why? Because Landry didn't have to campaign. The primary came and went, and it was a landslide, and then he won in the general easily. So to me, that's the only way that you could run a perfect campaign. But it wouldn't have been had it been tight. If Schroeder thought he had a chance, they were going to go scorch earth, and they were going to try and take Jeff Landry to the proverbial cleaners over something he supposedly, allegedly did in his past, but it didn't happen. So, you don't get very many perfect campaigns. Have you ever seen a perfect campaign?
No, I don't think there is a perfect campaign. I think there are campaigns where, like, the best intersection of traditional and cutting-edge political strategy come together.
Yep.
And, Massie didn't run a terrible campaign. There were just mistakes. And the other side of this is Donald Trump is saying that this is evidence. The Republican Party is all aligned with him. No, it isn't. See, that's the thing. It isn't evidence of that at all. It's evidence of him controlling a significant amount of resources, both directly and indirectly. It's evidence of a knockdown political operation. But it's not a test for the Republican Party. It's a small coalition of people. They all lean conservative anyway. Test this position in Nevada or Arizona, in the tight Sunbelt states. Test it there because libertarians live there. They live in Nevada, they live in Arizona, they like warm weather. And they were instrumental in delivering those two states for Trump and Republicans in 2024. Do we see that kind of turnout again in midterms of 2028? I would be shocked. It has to be someone not pro-Trump then.
Well, let me tell you something else that died last night and died yesterday. Heck set this out. Ann Coulter has a piece out, and they published it at The Spectator yesterday. It's Why I'm Never Marco. And she goes down to the list of things, and I'm going, basically why Mike Church is never Marco. And she goes all the way back to his 2012. The first thing he did when he was in the U.S. Senate was what? Tried to get an act or a bill or a resolution through the Senate so Obama could bomb Syria. That was the first thing he did. So Rubio, to me, is dead. He's dead to me. Hegseth is dead to me. But I didn't expect that they were actually going to be successful and they were going to get J.D. Vance to go play attack dog against Thomas Massie. And he did it. And he bore false witness. He accused Massie of doing things that Massie did not do. He's never done. Vance is now dead to me. So you not only did you shrink the party, you shrank the size of the for the base that is pro-MAGA, America First, pro someone like Massie. You alienated them. They're never going to trust you now. You're nothing more than a political clown to be bought and purchased and used as a pawn and as a piece in a greater game. So he shrank the base and he shrank the field of candidates for this part of the base. That's just stupid. That's not a win.
I know. It's ridiculous. It's insane. And the idea that it had to happen, like if Stephen Miller says it had to happen one more time, it's so stupid. he stands there with his MAGA hat, and he looks ridiculous, and he goes, it had to happen. We had to show Massie who was going to win and who was really in charge of the Republican Party.
Whatevs.
Is there not allowed to be dissent? Can no one criticize anything? I mean, what is wrong with these people? You can't even have a question about, like, the Epstein list. And it's not just the Epstein list. Massie was mad, or Trump was mad because Massie wouldn't back a couple of his smaller bills. The other side of this is Massie's vote was not vital in many of them. Like, in many of these cases that are blaming Massie, his vote wouldn't have carried it anyway.
No. And now these morons, now you have him voting for the next 7 months. No, okay.
Yeah.
Maggie, did we ever find out who the three congressmen were? I know it's Salazar from Indiana. I know that it's Boebert. Who was the third that went and campaigned with Massie? Rand Paul. No, there's four. Rand was the fourth.
But I even did a Google search.
Magdalene, do you know who the third member of Congress was?
No one knows.
Boebert, Rand Paul. I don't know who the third is.
No, there was a guy from Indiana. I think his last name was Salazar. And there was another dude. They were on a stage with him. There's pictures. People like him pictures. Now you have, okay, so Trump wanted Boebert to be primaried. Now he's got to deal with, you have a 219-seat majority. That means you can spare 2 votes. 2. To get anything through the House of Representatives. Hakeem Jeffries has 216. Well, then he only needs 2 votes to get something through the House of Representatives. Why wouldn't Hakeem or why wouldn't Nancy Pelosi be smart and tell Hakeem or go do it herself? Wax on, wax on. All roads lead to Putin. 12 off. What do you do? Ukraine. What do you want? What do you want? Wax on, wax on. What do you want? What do you want? Tell me what you want. Why wouldn't Pelosi and Jeffries go to Massie and Boebert and Salazar and the other guy and go like, what do you want? What do you want us to put in this bill? Tell us what you want. We'll put it in there. And we'll promise you we'll vote for it in reconciliation when it comes back. Just tell us what you want. Name it. Why wouldn't Massie go like Prime Act? Put the Prime Act in there. Done. Why wouldn't Massie say, take the scissor thing out, repeal it? Okay, done. This is a dangerous game now. Now that you've played Kingmaker Trump.
Oh, yeah.
It was Warren Davidson.
Warren Davidson.
Well,
That's the one I couldn't remember. Sparks. Okay. Sparks.
Well, Ro Khanna, that member of Congress, he put out a video, and I tweeted about it, where he was talking about how his friend Thomas Massie is under siege by Republicans. And, like, as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, this is so predictable. Like, how did no one in the Trump world put together that, hey, if you primary the Libertarian champion in Congress, and they only have 2 people in the entire federal government, if you primary that guy, he's now going to be courted by the hard-left Democrats who have understood the way he's feeling because they had Bernie Sanders' nomination taken away from them in 2016 and to some extent 2020. Like, how do you not put this together? I think Stephen Miller is so obsessed with his wife's podcast, which might be bought for millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, that he's neglecting the fact that he might have just cost us any midterm advantage with independent and libertarian-minded voters.
The coalition that elected Trump has been destroyed. There was a bridge. They put a 50-kiloton neutron bomb under it and detonated it. And then Trump went back and went, I don't think you got them all. I don't think you got them all. Here, this is a bigger bomb because it's mine. It's 100-kiloton neutron bomb. No, I don't want the neutron. It just vaporizes people. I want the explosion. Boom. I want to say boom. Real big boom. No one will ever see anything like it. So I'm going to put this 100-kiloton neutron bomb under that bridge that I used to become king, and I'm going to blow it up against Thomas Massie. Boom. And he pushed the plunger down, and he detonated it. There is no coming back. Your average, look, I spoke to an average Republican, MAGA, middle-class guy last night. He's 38. He's middle class. He lives in a middle-class home. He's got a good job, but he's got 8 kids and a wife to support. and he was all MAGA. He even wrote a children's book. It was called Sir Trump a lot. He even wrote a children's book, paid a guy to illustrate it in 2023. That guy is out. He told me last night, he goes, that's it, I'm done. I am finished. I'm not playing I'm not voting in Republican primaries ever again. I'm not voting for Republicans. He said, I'm not even voting now. I am out. There has to be another way. These people have betrayed us for the last time. So that sentiment, I don't think that is just like, an oddball sentiment. I think people, and I see if you agree with this. Somebody said earlier that, this is political and this is a political blow. I'm like, no. What Trump and Stephen Miller and all of them did was personal. They made it personal. They went after Massie's supporters. They called us names. Stephen Miller out there calling us communists. Benny Johnson, that little homo, calling us, I can't even remember the term that he used, cuckolds or whatever. They called Massie's supporter names. So they're told to libertarians, we don't need you ever again. And you smell. And we don't like the way you dressed, you hippie. So go to hell. Basically. That's personal. It's a personal affront. People don't forget people that insult them like that. So the idea, they'll all forget about it by November. No, we won't. I assure you, I won't let anyone forget about it.
No, and I won't either. But also, nobody will. Like, there are congressmen and women who are primaried. It doesn't really matter. You took out one of two libertarian representatives in the entire federal government ahead of midterms. What were you thinking? What kind of collective delusion goes on in that White House where this seemed like a good idea? And if you mention it, they're like, oh, well, he was a traitor to Trump. How was he a traitor to Trump? Because you know what? There have been legitimate traitors to Trump who then get, pardoned and medals. So if he is a traitor for Trump, how are other people not?
And now Trump just said on the tarmac, I could run. I'm quoting him now.
I got it. Here.
Oh, here.
What did you say to Prime Minister Netanyahu about Iran and how long to hold off on strike?
He's fine. He'll do whatever I want him to do. He's a very, very good man. He'll do whatever I want him to do, and he's a great guy. To me, he's a great guy. Don't forget, he was a wartime prime minister, and he's not treated right in Israel, in my opinion. I'm right now at 99% in Israel. I could run for prime minister, so maybe after I do this, I'll go to Israel, run for prime minister. I had a poll this morning. I'm 99%, so that's good. But no, he's a wartime prime minister, and I just don't think they treat him well.
Yeah, I could go to Israel and I could run into 99% today. 99%? No, you're not. No, you're not. Thomas Massie got 46%, 47% in Kentucky. I assure you, you're not 99%. This man is absolutely deluded.
Well, he is. And also, he has no plan for when this inevitably falls apart. I will tell you, libertarians don't want to hear after this, libertarians bailed on me, libertarians betrayed me, libertarians don't care about the country. Libertarians went to bat for Donald Trump in 2024. The coalitions that had to be built within the Libertarian Party to get Donald Trump elected were massive. And Trump knows this. This is what I don't understand. He knows that libertarians helped get him elected. He knows that he was elected because libertarians had things they wanted, pardons of crypto prisoners and whistleblowers. They had things specifically they wanted done. He has pardoned one person and wants to be endlessly praised for doing what it was the right thing, Ross Ulbright, and delivered nothing else for libertarians. Meanwhile, Lindsey Graham gets a new Christmas present every 2 days. So what kind of administration is this?
Well, I think we got the answer to that, and we're getting the answer to that, and that is the oligarchs win. The AI oligarchs win. The Israel oligarchs win. The military-industrial complex, new oligarchs, that's Don Jr. and Eric, win. There's your administration. So I was joking about it. I would not be surprised to hear him say that his sons are far better at fleecing the federal government than Hunter Biden was.
They're smarter about it.
Now, last question.
Yeah.
Would you be surprised?
No, because they're doing it so much on all the fronts. They're also not drug addicts, so it's a lot less sloppy. Like, I think that is part of it. The lack of being a drug addict or engaging in odd levels of prostitution might have something to do with their ability. But they are fleecing, and they're doing it through these mini companies that keep popping up everywhere. Contrast that with Hunter Biden, who is now trying to, rehab his image and going on Candace Owens and talking about how his father was the only one not in the Epstein circuit, and that's why they went for him. I don't give a lot of credence to Hunter Biden, but he's trying to clean up his mess right now.
Can I, I want to ask you a follow-up question since you mentioned, because that was going to be my last question. Candace Owens says, I have Hunter Biden coming on. Now, I look at the Hunter Biden thing, and this is just good old-fashioned Democrat corruption. I knew about it in 2019. You know this, right? That I did the narration. I did the voiceover for the French documentary series Ukraine Gate in November and December of 2019 during the Sham impeachment. So Olivier Broyard was the French journalist, award-winning French journalist who put the whole thing together. And so I know because I read the script. I saw the videos. I knew back in 2019, I was going you guys don't even know the tip of the proverbial iceberg, what was going on during the Obama administration with the Bidens and what they were doing in Ukraine. And, Biden gleefully admitted in that famous clip where he says, well, you're not going to get the $1 billion. And the Ukrainian minister goes you can't do that. You're not the president. And Biden goes, call him up. Call him up, ask him. He was talking about calling Obama. I knew about Hunter Biden's corruption, and I knew what was going on. But this was basically just a pay-for-play scheme. This was, okay, you want certain things from the State Department of the United States. You want certain political assurances and protections. And in order to get them, here's what you're going to do. You're going to employ my son and his friend Devin Archer and whoever else. You're going to pay them handsomely to be on your board, and you're going to launder the money through a bank account in London that's going to go to Latvia, and it's going to go into Devin Archer's account from Latvia. It'll be tax-free. Basically, they defrauded the Ukrainian people of their tax revenue as well. It'll be tax-free, and then Biden will tell John Rambo Kerry, or whoever the Secretary of State was at the time, to do what Kolomoisky wanted him to do. And that's the way it happened. Basically, okay, right? You would agree this is just old school patronage, pay-for-play politics.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
That's not what the Trumps are doing.
No, it's not. And I think that Donald Trump needs to understand that he's not actually a king. It's so sad because if Donald Trump made mistakes or if he messed something up, I would not feel like this because things happen in politics. You're betrayed all the time. It's a very fluid situation. My problem here is that he sets us up for catastrophe over and over again. And he's flirting with the idea of trying to take Cuba. Are you out of your mind? And you know what? If he takes Cuba, that's solely because of Marco Rubio. So we can hang the guilt for a lot of things with Heggs after Trump, but if Cuba goes down and they take Cuba, that is Marco Rubio fulfilling his parents' and grandparents' dreams of a liberated Cuba.
Let me just say one more thing about that. It all some of it is starting to make sense if that does happen, and I don't see why they wouldn't do it. Why wouldn't you do it? Who's going to stop you? There's no force on earth that's left to stop him, other than his own conscience, if he even has one. The Cubans are reporting that they're out of gas. They have no gasoline left on the island, literally. And they're asking the world for help. Was it always the plan that the added bonus with siding with the Israelis was you're going to starve certain countries of gasoline and you can go in and blackmail them or take them over? Someone that's shrewd could make could make that case. what would a takeover, what would the Trumps taking over Cuba look like? Well, maybe you, Eric, Don Jr. or Eric goes down there and buys an old dilapidated hotel that used to be the beau ideal for American and European tourists, and either renovates it and they get open tourism back in Cuba and they make tens of millions on running a casino in Cuba, or maybe they just build a new Trump Tower down there. So don't tell me this hasn't occurred to them. So that may be the reason why. So now you start to look at these things. You know, in August of 2024, I praised Trump. I did it. I'm admitting it. I praised him, and I praised Sean Duffy for saying that we are going to drop the DEF diesel truck requirements. We're going to extend it out. We're going to ask all the manufacturers to change the hardware so that your truck doesn't shut down after 4 hours or whatever it is that you go over the limit or under the amount of DEF you're supposed to have in the tank. And then in January of 2025, they basically repealed the whole thing. Now it makes total sense, doesn't it, that he planned to do this all along. This wasn't just a whim that Netanyahu visited and they pulled the trigger. That was the catalyst for the launch of it. But they planned it, and they knew that Qatar, which produces more than half of the world's DEF, they knew that the Qatar natural gas facility was going to go offline, or there was a good chance. So they tried to mitigate that and not do as much harm to America's truck drivers by making it so that you don't have to have DEF. You see what I'm saying here? They knew, he knew, after the obliteration of the nukes in August of 2024, that Iran was going to get bombed and that there was a good chance that the Middle East was going to be set on fire. They knew it. That makes it all the more sinister to me, and they planned it. It was planned all along, and we fell for it.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people are realizing that. And the overarching issue here is that Trump has nobody who will say no to him. But also, is it the Charlie Kirk assassination that took all the good people out? I think it might have been. But what other factor happened here? Because this is a dramatically different man than even 2017, even the first term. He governs in a strange way where it really does seem like he just does whatever he likes and whatever he thinks is best. And there's no check on that power. And you contrast that with other Republican administrations, and there was like an overall thread. Like they had an ethos that went into everything. What is Trump's ethos? Like if you were really going to evaluate
he doesn't have one.
At it, I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you what it is. I mean, I would have originally said anti-immigration, but then he completely wound down all efforts to deport people. So you got rid of that. He's moving forward with like decriminalizing pretty much of marijuana, which he always was against. He was always against young people having more access to drugs. So the core tenets of Donald Trump keep being erased.
Well, Magdalene, there's a video of him when Barron was like 5 years old, going into his office and saying, "Hey, man, come here, give me a hug, give me a kiss, come here. Well, you're going to school. Okay, you're going to, hey, look, before you go, no drinking and no drugs, okay? No drinking and no drugs." He's always been opposed until he wasn't opposed. Now, his children are all grown and didn't grow up on dope, but it's okay for the rest of America's children to now grow up on dope.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Go to a city. Go to a city like in the north and see what it's like. Pot smoke is everywhere. I'm in one. I will tell you, it's everywhere.
I know.
It is oppressive. And if you like, and you know what's weird? If you don't like it, they look at you like, well, what's wrong with you? That's what he's helping to normalize.
Yeah, and then when I fire up a cigar, they're like, it's disgusting. No, you're disgusting. And by the way, Magdalene, thank you very much for calling. You have to see that if we had Jesus Christ come down and count the votes, I would have won California. No one's ever seen anything like it. Ronald Reagan was a piker. He was nothing. I would have won California 3 times, and Jesus would have counted the... You can't... I'm finished. Magdalene, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Before we go, I want to end on two positive notes. The first one is this, because it's funny. Play digital media file number 7, please. This is this is at Massie's concession last night. It's just funny. Okay, pay attention. There's a joke at the end.
This is the one scandal. This is the one scandal they never figured out on me.
He just got handed a glass of raw milk.
I get my milk from the Amish cartel. And I don't pay for it with Federal Reserve notes. I trade peaches for dairy. And what I want to do is this is a toast in honor of my late wife. I introduced a raw milk bill, and the milk lobby came after me viciously. They said there wouldn't be enough hospitals for all the kids that would be sick and dying if we had raw milk. But the problem with that is it's already legal in a bunch of states, and I've been drinking it for years. So my late wife's Google alerts were going off. She was getting all this bad press about me up there in Washington, D.C., and she was worried for me. And I've got a pretty thick skin, but she texted me one of those stories, and she said, OMG, I didn't realize the lactose lobby was so intolerant. So let's have a drink.
That is so funny. And then finally, digital media file number 15. Last one, right? This is the last one. By the way, Dude Gear Store needs attention. The Crusade Radio Guild, I guess I'll send another email out today, needs help for May. CrusadeChannel.com/donate. MikeChurch.com/ or no. Well, if you want a dude number and you want to apply to be a dude number, and you should, MikeChurch.com/dude or shop.MikeChurch.com. Here, just take this one in. This is why there is hope.
It's amazing the comments we have about they have the red cups. Yes, we do.
Tim Sparks got his start working at a Pizza Hut that looked like this. He's now president of Dayland Corporation, which owns this franchise and more than 80 others around the country. They've redecorated many restaurants to rewind the clock.
It looks exactly like the one that I remember from when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's what we were after.
Some Pizza Hut classics are now top-performing locations. Customers show up for a piece of their childhood.
It just brings back memories.
To share with their own kids.
When you finally find something that tastes how you genuinely remember it tasting, like, you can't let it go.
People come from 2 and 3 hours away, and I'm not making that up.
More restaurants are serving up nostalgia. Franchises like Burger King and KFC return to old-school logos and packaging in recent years. At Pizza Hut, they even brought back Pac-Man. But for Sparks, this is much more than a game. It's a mission to rebuild places where families can connect.
If we could get them in here as a family, they do tend to put their phones down and actually have conversations and speak with each other. I'm not going to tell you I know how to fix the world, but I do think that family is a good place to start.
He hopes to renovate more of his restaurants as long as he can find enough of those lamps.
They're hard to get?
Yeah, they're almost impossible to get.
A familiar taste.
Well, cheers.
Cheers, bro.
Bringing people together.
Just like I remember it.
It's such a good story. The stained glass chandelier, lanterns, light fixtures, whatever you wish to call them, that said Pizza Hut on them. This is a fixture. You know, Maggie and I were talking about this. She has memories from Pizza Hut when she was a kid. I have memories from Pizza Hut. You know, the Pizza Hut that was on, I can tell you which, it was on Virginia Beach. No, it was on Indian River Road. The Pizza Hut that was on Indian River Road in Virginia Beach, Virginia, down the street from my house, was a Friday night go-to if you went to Kempsville High School. As a matter of fact, the parking lot on a Friday night would be filled, and the manager would come out and get pissed at us because he's like, "You kids need to get out of here. You're not buying any pizza anyway." And they say, "Okay, Mr. Smith or Mr. Webb," and then one of us would go inside, had a real job after school or whatever, and would buy a couple of pizzas and come back out. But I remember my friend Ralph Dupas and I would go on whatever night it was, Wednesday night, when it was like bottomless beer pitchers for $5 or whatever. Me and Ralph and his wife Mary, we would go to, and their daughter, we go to Pizza Hut. And because me and Ralph were Pac-Man fanatics, we'd sit down at the table that had the Pac-Man on it. Because they had tabletop Pac-Mans. You didn't have to stand; you could sit. And you get your pitcher of beer, and yes, they would serve you. They would give you the red cup, the famous red Pizza Hut cup. And of course, all the Pizza Huts all look the same, with the hut design. But Tim Sparks is right. Not that all families need a fast food joint to go and get together. I'm not saying that. Some of you are going to accuse me of that. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying, though, that if you are going to go out and you are going to go eat, why not go to a cool place that recognizes that family is the most important thing and cater to them? It's like the story that we told of the dad who wanted to meet his daughter for lunch, and they wanted to try this new fangled burger place. And so he arrived there on time for lunch, and she was running late. And so she texts him and says, "Dad, I'm running a little bit behind. Sorry, but I'll be there in 10. And then he says, "Don't bother. This infernal blasted order by your using QR codes was the only way to order. I'm not doing it. I went to Chili's. I'll see you there." When we was growing up, and some of you are older than me, maybe in the 60s, you could say, when I was growing up, and in the 70s, I have fond memories of lots of things that we did outside the house. And those things are rare these days. And they have screwed them up. But Tim Sparks is trying to restore the pizza. You heard about, the Burger King. You know what Burger King doesn't have anymore? Impossible Burger. No more of that genetically altered crap that was on the menu. Doesn't exist. They took it out. They're gone. You know what Kentucky Fried Chicken now has on its menu? And it doesn't have any of the Impossible Chicken garbage they tried to peddle. Just fried chicken. Original or extra crispy. There's something to this. To get an idea of why so many things in the business world are so screwed up in the United States. And I don't know what Mr. Sparks' motivation is. He says it's family, and I'll take him at his word. Watch the Michael Keaton film, The Founder. It's about Ray Kroc. And when you watch The Founder and you realize, or you learn of the story, because it was the first time I ever heard it, you learn of what Ray Kroc did to the lovable, trusting Irish Catholic immigrants who were the McDonald brothers. You might never go to a McDonald's again. That's if you are going, and most of you aren't. You'd be like Maggie, "That's it, I'm out, I'm never going again." And she didn't go for like 8 years. And then one day, out of necessity, there was nothing else. "Okay, stop, I'll get a double cheese." There is something wrong with and sinister about business, because it's not business any longer. Now it's just about power. It's about obscenely grabbing the most amount of money so you can have the most amount of power over your fellow citizens, because they don't think we're fellow citizens. We're just numbers. That's why Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, is now dead to me. I don't even want to see that guy. You know, yet the media helps create these images of these people that is just completely contrived and fake. Watch O'Leary now talk about AI data centers. And you go like, well, I used to like that guy. I can't stand him now. I can't even stand the sight of him. That's where we are. And we're not alone. We're not alone. So, folks, been a long day. It was a long night last night. We'll be here tomorrow for the 35th annual Mike Church Show, Memorial Day weekend kickoff extravaganza. Why aren't you doing it on Friday, KingDude? I don't work on Memorial Day weekend Friday. I did it once, and I'll never do it again. And I swore I would never do it again. You know what? No, I did it twice. I thought the first time was a fluke. Second time it happened the exact same way. I'm like, nope, not doing it. I went into Sirius XM Patriot Studio, and I talked to the Three Stooges cutout literally for 3 hours. I literally talked for 3 hours. And in one of those shows, I had a producer that was not even really there. So I was literally me, Mo, Larry, and Curly. And then the next year, it was the same thing. And everything was dead, and I'm not doing it. So we'll do it tomorrow. Some of you will still be around tomorrow. Many of you are leaving today. Tomorrow night, Thursday Night Throwdown, Great American Folk Songs. Bring your folk songs. And look, don't bring 2. Please don't bring 2. Bring 4. And get them to me in advance so I can put them into my iTunes playlist and we can play some of them, because there's so many great ones, and most people don't think that they're folk songs. Like I said, Christopher Cross, Ride Like the Wind, that's a folk song. No, it's got a rock song. You can call it whatever you want. Oh, it's a rock. It's got okay, fine. Play it on an acoustic guitar. That's a folk song. Great American Folk Songs tomorrow night, 6 Central, right here on the Ethics and Broadcasting Network. Folks, we won yesterday. We're not defeated. And we're more motivated than ever now to...
We're going to have some medical...
We're going to have some medical, yes. Tomorrow night, we're going to have some medical bourbons and medical tequilas. Might even have some tonight. Well, might even have some this afternoon. We're not defeated. We won. And the fact that we're more motivated than ever to figure out the secular Rubik's Cube and make it into a Catholic one in which we wish to live is more prevalent, and you're going to find more people are going to be amenable to, okay, what are you guys talking about over there on the Ethics and Broadcasting on the Mike Church? What are you all about, Mike? What are you talking about? Catholic confessional state? I don't know what that means. Can you explain that to me? Why not have a republic? Okay, we can work on this. You're going to find more people are going to come into our movement. So make sure that you don't let them steal your joy, because no one is going to join you if you're a killjoy. So don't be a killjoy. If news breaks out today, we shall break in. If not, I will see you tomorrow here on the Red, White, and Dude Nation. And then shop in the store, make a donation, shop.mikechurch.com, crusadechannel.com/donate. God bless, and wait a minute, St. Bernardine of Siena, pray for us. God bless and Mary keep you.
He's got the truth on his side. The liberals can run, but they'll never hide. He's a friend of Mr. Madison as he fights all leftisms. He supports our troops over there, stands up to the kooks from care. He's the KingDude of the nation of dude.